No, don't tell me about
Here.
it. Why does he get, don't touch anything yet. Why does he get special treatment? I don't know.
Probably because I didn't want to lift the chair back over that
Because he's so nice, that's
There you go.
why.
I'll go with that one.
I just did those out of order, let me see.
You're welcome. Had nothing to do with me being lazy.
Okay,
There's that one.
no, you don't.
Yeah, you-
You took them out of the pile?
Yep.
When did you do that, John?
About 5 minutes ago.
Oh, well, that was nice, here I'm panicking, trying to get them all ready. Here's yours, April. Debbie, did you get yours?
Yes. It's yours?
Yes, that's yours.
What's this one? The gray didn't really come up, but this was the one that she originally put in your box. I'm gonna leave these here so I can make sure that the input is.
So this is Sarah's,
The gray. Okay,
okay, that's all
I'll
right.
put Sarah's over here on her pile to go in the box.
6, 47, 48, 49, here's her resolution stuff.
Here's your planning board minutes. Did you get planning board minutes? Planning board and planning board, you took your account time?
46, 47, 48, okay.
You did leave those in your mail.
Sorry, I didn't have.
They just missed getting
the
copies into the
resolutions
packets
typed up
for
before you
time.
got your packets. So I apologize for that. Did you hear me, John?
Well, sorry.
That I didn't have the resolutions typed up in time for your packet. So I'm apologizing.
I'll let you go.
You'll let me go on that one? Listen, I'm learning a lot, and Debbie taught me a really good trick today on that computer. So I'm getting there. You have an extra copy. Deb, you did get a copy?
Dave,
Hi, how are you?
sir, what's going on?
I'm gonna live in the green.
Somebody's dream, right?
More than I can.
Here you go. I took a copy. Here you go.
How are you? Good, yourself?
Good. I don't need that anyway. I got nothing.
Good.
Not good.
That's a good.
Not really.
What?
Quick.
How's it going?
Are you crying?
Sure.
Hey, Brad.
How are you?
Good, you? Good.
Maybe Wednesday. I'm going to that's night. It's probably that.
Sorry.
Very,
Which one?
up at the lake.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just gonna take it down. Bring it down here.
Like to grab somewhere.
Let me use the email.
3,000 right now.
We didn't have it.
This one.
She's got it.
Yes, we heard anything from Tom?
Yes. That's all in order.
Yeah, it was.
Especially-
I saw her only briefly today.
Yeah, of course, no.
And that was only the second one, it was a public It's before. And if you had a public meeting-
Tomorrow's the public hearing.
I
I should have a statement from. I'll put it
No,
on
it's
here.
gonna happen.
From
How much I can talk about it?
And one from, I got one from the email that said, just stated,
Right, yeah, true.
and also,
Register.
from stores. And at least 2 out of 3 of them endorsed the green sign that you and I talked about it several months ago.
My brain was more exercised. Oh, it's after.
I was gonna say, please stand for the pledge, but we all stood, so. Okay. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We're gonna open it up to the public. If we have any public that wants to speak tonight? Nobody except Pete? Okay, Pete.
There you go, Pete.
There you go, Pete.
Okay, we got 4 quick things. Upcoming events. 1, tomorrow night is a public hearing at 6 o'clock at the village office regarding parking here on North Main Street between Genesee and Academy Street. We're gonna bring that on up. We will collect that data and we will make it, as far as I'm concerned, we will make a decision that is gonna be long-term. I'm tired of hearing about it. I believe that we have a lot of different voices that have already weighed in. I got Chivani, got the books from the farmer's market, got Stewart's is gonna be represented, and I'm sure that there will be at least 1 or 2 townspeople. So I think that we're gonna hear,
I have one question for you on that. In the text that came out about the public hearing, it said that it was currently 2-hour
It is
limit from,
it is currently.
the sign there says no parking
Absolutely,
at all.
right, that's what we're gonna clarify.
Just curious,
I
okay.
have no idea why,
We already
the
talked about
genesis of that no parking sign. I
Okay.
have no idea who prompted it, but, I wanna have actually, David and I have talked about a compromise, that would be 30-minute parking, and, no idling between the hours of 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. That essentially eliminates the issue of noise and fumes and all this other stuff that is thrown out there. And it is a mixed use environment, and
It's the only safe spot, the hazard-free location for any bigger tractor trailers or stuff to park. As they come up to here, you can actually park in front of this building, but it's so much narrower, you can't get around because of the cause of the hazard. So that would be the most safest place for a vehicle of such to park.
there's no other place for people to stop and conveniently work there between, essentially from Sydney all the way on up to Bridgewater. You know, it just makes sense. And my feeling is you don't move in next to an airport and complain about the jet noise.
New York State has a
But
6-minute idling for tractor trailers anyway. I mean, but we've all been told at Chivani to shut them off before you even get out, just so you know.
good. And most folks just run in, go to the bathroom,
Get the
grab a cup of
coffee.
coffee, and they're gone. Time is money.
Right.
Yeah, so that's, anyway, if you want to attend that, please do. I'm gonna cut it off probably about 45 minutes. It's gonna go 6 to 6:30, 6:45 at the latest, because I'm gonna start the regular meeting at 6:30. But I want to have it done and come up with something that's clear and understandable and long-term. Okay, that's item number 1. Item number 2 on Thursday is the mammogram. Van will be parked here again behind the, between here and the American Legion. I confirmed that this morning. They've already starting to get reservations made. That's from 9 until 3:30. Open to anybody, Shenango or Otsego County. As far as I'm concerned, doesn't matter. I just want to get the numbers up. These are all folks that we rode the school bus with as kids, and now they're adults and having to deal with this sort of stuff. So I want to make sure that it's available to everybody. Somebody's going to complain, oh, it's not free. Well, it's free if you consider that it is paid for by your insurance.
Yeah.
So, and you don't even need insurance. They will fill out the paperwork for you if in fact you don't have insurance. Last time we had 12 participants. I'm hoping for 12 to 15 again this time. We are looking at, we were going to have a community events meeting tomorrow night to lock it in, but we do not have a definite on this, but we anticipate that the community will be holding a ride. And that will be for kids, parents, grandparents, whomever, working on the details on that, more to follow on that. And the 4th item is
The hayride for like Halloween.
yeah, well, it would be sometime before, around Halloween, but it will not conflict with the 19th of October, which is the night of fun down at the school.
Okay.
And The community, or the village Christmas tree lighting, I anticipate is going to be the 8th of December. That may change, it hasn't been locked in yet, but I anticipate that happening on the 8th of December. More details to follow on that as well.
And that's all gonna be at Hyde Park.
That will be at Hyde Park.
Again,
Hopefully
like
by that time, we will have cameras up at Hyde Park.
Certainly hope so. They've been ordered. I know everything's been ordered, so, like I said to you earlier, now the wife has COVID, so.
Oh, gosh.
He was sick, now she's sick, so it's not my one.
The wife of the vendor.
The one-
Oh,
He
All
got
I
really
could think
sick
of-
and was in the hospital, that's why we haven't got him yet.
So when the cameras go up, then we'll be able to have porta pots and some other things that we're going to work through. Also going to be looking at some other things that will require clearance from insurance, such as warming tents and things like that in case it's really cold and nasty. Yeah. That's it.
That's great, thanks. Pete, just to, when do you anticipate the fire contract price for the budget? That you'll have it to me?
We should have it to you very, very soon. I mean,
Okay.
it's I anticipate it will be the 2%.
Okay,
bump.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
estimating, but I haven't
Yeah.
got anything official, but
Yeah.
I gotta
No,
hand my
I-
budget in by,
As you build your budget,
September
plan on the 2%.
okay, that's all.
And as I mentioned a year ago, the EMS is going to go up. That is going to go up 5% as opposed to the 2%.
That's
It's
what,
just, it's three things that EMS is. It's salaries, gas, and insurance.
Yeah.
And all three of them have gone up by much more than 5%. But we've got a good, strong EMS at this point. I just need to continue to build the staffing. And I believe that there's some things that we can do to build that staffing. One of our primary ALS providers, wife just got in a car accident herself and underwent surgery, so she's laid off. He's got to take care of her for the next few weeks. So we're a little bit light on ALS, but we've got the BLS support. So the team has come together. I anticipate that we'll have the cardiac compression system probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
okay. Right, since we have no other public, I need to approve of the monthly minutes for August 12th, 2024. Okay, is there any discussion on them?
Said the one, last page, last paragraph there in regular session, on the increase in hourly wages, Debbie Clerk.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Yep, I will
Thank you.
fix that.
Or you're gonna have a lot of people wanting to work for you?
I want that job now.
Yeah. I quit, I'll take that job.
I demote.
Okay.
I do an extra digit.
Okay. All in favor, did I say all in favor? All in favor? Okay, aye.
6.
Okay, accepting of the monthly reports. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion.
April? Second?
Second.
John? Okay, highway. I forgot to mention that Sarah's dad's in the hospital, that's why she won't be here. Did I mention that?
Yeah, go out.
Oh, okay,
Yep, kind of new.
okay.
Evening.
Night, or good night.
Good night.
Good night.
All right.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
In August, the guys worked hard. We put down pretty much the last of our grader patch, fixing the weak spots in our roadways. We're making more patch on Wednesday. We're making another 500 tons because we went through ours real quick.
Good.
Joey Thompson started with the town on August 12th. He's a great asset to the town. Already he's shown us that he can drive and he can run equipment. So I have real high hopes for him. Hopefully he sticks around and he has some longevity in him.
Has he been in that big truck?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Have you pushed the plow up and down?
He's played around. We have one
Okay.
truck that has a wing on it.
right
Okay.
now. The one that we're gonna be selling after our new one comes.
Okay.
So he's played around with that a little bit. Yeah, he's run offset mowers and stuff on the farm, so he kind of is used to, it's usually behind him, but this wing will be off to the side, so
All right,
I
good,
think he'll adapt pretty quick, hopefully.
good.
And the drug test. That's good.
Oh, that was all
Yeah,
completed,
that's
the
all.
drug test? Okay, great.
Matt and Paul have been doing our weekly mowing and maintenance at the town hall, Millbrook, and the cemeteries in the town.
Okay.
Justin and Jason been working on cleaning our ditches. I'm sure I'm burning them out with that, but we're gonna keep going with it. Jason and Joey hauled 500 ton of material in for our coal catch that we're gonna be making. I rented a roller from Alta Equipment. They came in as a little better. We use that to fix the shoulders out of the roads and grade our dirt roads before winter time. The rental was $3,800 a month. Everyone else was mid to high $4,000 range, so.
I'm gonna ask a stupid question. So you grade them and then you roll them, our
Yes, yep,
dirt roads?
Yep.
And that keeps them compact?
yes, we'll break the potholes up and basically hone the road, bring the extra material that's been worked to the outside back in
Okay,
and add material as needed.
okay.
Up in Millbrook, I spoke with Sandy from the Department of Health and she's real happy with the water situation.
Great.
So she's on the good side for now. Moving into September, we're gonna be getting things ready for winter time. When I say that, we're just gonna be trimming brush, low hanging limbs, putting up markers for when the visibility is low during winter time. And the big thing is we're gonna be plumbing those tanks that we bought from auction, so we can get them ready. So I don't wanna do that in middle October, cold, so.
That's to keep that liquid stuff
Yeah,
in,
that
right?
magic.
Magic. I couldn't think of the word.
This was kind of a rush thing. We helped the village out, do their chip sealing and we assisted them with their micropave. That went really well.
Very much appreciated on that.
You're welcome.
I mean, publicly, acknowledge you and the team for that.
Yeah, like, so this is, I'm just going through this together. I was busy, so.
No, that's fine. This was
We've
great.
been moving along really good. We have a lot of pipes. I told you guys before, our pipe infrastructure in the town is hideous, so we have a lot of stuff to do with that.
Now, the pipe material itself, is that covered under chips too? Or do we purchase that and then just the work and stuff and
So
the paving?
we can claim like
Some of that material?
most all of that. We can
Okay.
claim pipes,
Okay,
all of that. So moving forward, you guys asked me about this too. We have 22 roads eligible for CHIPS projects
Right.
next year, and I did the calculations today. That is a total of 30.37 miles that we're able to do. We're not gonna do all of that.
No, we can't do that all.
So, like I said, it's 22 roads. After we get our patch made, we're gonna go through and try to get at least the bad spots and weak spots of all these roads done. And assess from there. I'm gonna have Rob Reed from Best Asphalt and Jerry Prince from Suco ride these roads with me and figure out what they need and an estimate along with that, which is subject to change because of the escalation of the oil.
Right,
So.
of oil prices.
Yeah, it'll be kind of a,
Pretty much everything we oil.
yeah, it's gonna be a rough estimate. Like I said, it's subject to change, but
Right,
we'll at least have a good standpoint of where to go.
okay, good.
And then, last Thursday, Joey and I went out to Lakeville, which is out near Rochester, and scoped out our new truck. It's, the next one to go in the shop, to get the plows and the box and everything set up for the plowing equipment.
And when is that gonna get here?
It's slated for like the second week of October, hopefully. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just a little bit late. But we will see it before snowfall.
Okay.
We set it up for Joey, right?
Yep, we set it up for everything the way, well, kind of the way I wanted it set up, but
Right,
he'll,
yeah,
he'll
yeah.
adapt to.
Should we keep the old one, let him drive the old one first? Just in case.
No, we said.
Let's move on with that one. I think,
He's brand new.
he'll be fine.
Okay.
I'm not gonna set him loose all by himself.
Okay,
He's gonna ride with me for a while
okay,
before I cut him loose.
okay.
Let's see, other BOCES over in, what's that, Masonville. They're interested in the other
Buying
truck
the
that we're
truck.
going to be selling. So as soon as we get the other one, or at least know, we'll
We can post them. Do we do that separately, or do you put that on Auction International? Or people already know and they're giving you
They all kind of know. I've spread the word a little bit to
Okay.
try to,
drum up some
Yeah.
business? Okay.
You get an offer, you don't
We
have
just,
to worry about it.
we just take the offer,
Pay that.
yeah, then we don't have to pay the commission, correct? Okay. All right,
which
I
we
was
don't
just
pay
kidding.
the commission, the
The
buyer
buyer
does.
pays the commission.
Right.
Okay. Great.
Other than that, that was,
Brendan, I didn't see it in the minutes. Did we get approval to invoice them? Because I can have that done tomorrow for, was that the broom?
oh yeah, Jim Wayne from Pittsfield, remember we did the intermunicipal deal for the broom? We declared that surplus and we were gonna sell it to Pittsfield.
Yeah, I'm not-
We did
Yeah, I
that last
remember.
month.
Okay.
He wants an invoice for that, for $1,500.
Okay, so we didn't give him one? Oh, we gotta give him one to pay us?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Did we
I
give
think I
him a
remember
room yet?
being
He has
conversation,
it
it's
over
not in
there.
my
I let
minutes
him use
as
it for
a,
a day after
Okay.
they got done with
Motion.
one of their chip seal projects.
Yeah, I'll make-
Right, I think it was just a conversation.
yeah, so we can motion. we
Okay,
can have her do
so,
that.
let me just write that down. So we need a motion for an invoice
And approval to do that, right?
Yeah.
We'll
For
go, we need to get an
1,500.
invoice, so.
for Pittsfield town of
For
Pittsfield.
$1,500.
Okay,
I can do that right now, can I?
Yeah.
Make a motion, so room to Pittsfield for
1,500,
1,000, yeah, 1,500, go ahead.
I second.
okay, April? All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
And I have 2 invoices for Joan tomorrow, that and the water, so I'll pass that along to her.
I've been happy.
Okay, great,
We have our way and we'll get that.
perfect. Because we got that new one with the,
Yep, with the broom,
Yeah,
or
okay.
the loader, sorry.
okay,
So once, you get those guys looking at those roads, you're gonna prioritize which
Yes,
ones you wanna do each
Yeah.
year,
yeah,
you know,
like
in order or whatever.
for example, like Colby Lane and Olson Drive, they're 2 roads that go to nothing, and they don't get any traffic other than just the people who live on them. So those roads they're like on the back burner. They're dead end roads and they're in good shape.
they're in
Yeah,
good shape.
so
okay.
like Cornell local roads, I base everything off of what I'm doing, off of their kind of criteria.
Uh-huh.
And you have to keep your good roads good. So at some point, we should do them, but like I said, we have a lot more roads that need more attention than anything.
Okay.
As long as you're in good shape, you don't
And,
have,
Yeah.
and Roy, like John, what'd you say, average was 7?
I think we did like 7 miles a year, didn't we?
Pretty close, yeah.
Okay, because I was gonna say, do you remember like that? Okay.
Between 5 and 7 from looking back at previous.
And when you
chips.
say that, that's cutting it all up and repaving the whole thing, like chipping it all up and putting all new? No, that's not what that means. Oh, it's just tar and stone, so just put new tar and stone down.
I think for some of these roads, we talked before,
With the
the
pitch, yeah,
contours
yeah,
gone in these roads.
you
You have
gotta
your
fix
shoulder
that,
and wheel ruts, so like maybe a shim pave over some of these to get the contour
To
back and then chip seal.
okay.
But pipes are the biggest thing first. We're gonna have a lot of pipes to do.
Is that something you need to check, like, do we need to get them ordered? Because is that something like with COVID that they take months and months to come in, like the truck?
I think you're getting pretty.
Yeah, we get it right from steel sales.
Right in Sherburne?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
then
it's not something we have to wait a long time
If
or,
it's a real big pipe, like anything over 4 feet probably is something you need to order. I
Okay.
don't anticipate changing any that day,
okay,
but
okay.
you never know. I have to go through and check
Check
every one of
everything,
these.
yeah. I just didn't know if that's something we had to order and get
Yeah.
on the way. Okay, great.
All right.
All right, thanks, Brandon. Okay,
Good night, Dave.
David,
Here's the next one, that's-
the next one, your winner.
Who you weren't allowed to use that name? Said he thought you were in trouble when you heard that name.
Oh,
Oh,
Dave is okay, David, we got him, my mother was, I was probably with his daughter.
shall say it again, David.
Oh, great. So, please come to the principal. So, yeah, I mean, here you see our monthly report, it's the same as usual, everybody's doing their job. The remarks, pretty simple stuff. The live scan equipment, we received some of it. I was telling Deb earlier, some of the stuff we received was like, because we got a grant, these places these vendors like to say, this is $45 million. So I said, no, I'm sending the stuff back, they're sending me a return receipt, because I said, this is what we want. This is what we ordered, this is what I want. I don't want like just the monitor, I would just say monitor on it. It's like, you go to Walmart, yeah. So I said, no. So they tried to trick us here, but, so we're getting the good stuff now. It's all gonna be replaced. Then they'll be out here eventually they do the installation, they do the training, so we know how to do all that stuff. So we'll be getting more stuff on that. And you just heard about the camera project. The vendor, he was sick, so there was a delay there, and his wife was sick with COVID, and I don't know if he's obviously next to her, so I don't know if he can come out of the house or not. But the stuff has been ordered. There was a couple things on back order, but he'll be getting those shortly too, so we can get, he wants to get down here, and we'll be waiting. And there's some other equipment, maybe the server. He's gonna give me a quote on that, so we have that, and it'll go under the LE Tech grant, so it won't cost the town or anybody anything.
Okay.
And then Trax grant, a while ago, I went to a conference, and I spoke with some people from Trax. Now, we have the computers in the cars, they're a little older, and the printers are older. So I was talking to him, he goes, oh, there's a grant right now, because the town bought the ones that are in the cars right now. They have about $1,800 a computer. So we're gonna get 3 new computers, 3 new printers for free. So they're already been approved, they're on the way. So that'll save out some money there.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I see you have on the agenda tonight on new business for overtime policy. I don't know, we gotta wait to talk then, or I can tell you a little bit about it now, what my thoughts were.
Yeah, I'm okay with that to do it now.
Yeah.
I know this was tabled a few times, it's kind of falls under labor law and a few other things. According to New York State labor law, for overtime, it's overtime anything over 40 hours. And in this state, it's really up to the town, village, or city, whoever the agency might be, unless there's a union involved. So you have the ability to say, okay, it's sick time or PTO time, can it be included in a work week? It's not automatic, it's a need basis, so you can change it if you want to. My thing is, if an officer works, and it's very rare anyways, if an officer works, I would like to do it per day. So an officer, whatever their scheduled hours, say they work an 8 or 10 hour shift, anything over that shift time becomes overtime, because sometimes, especially now with cap court, where we have to wait till 8 o'clock, we arrest somebody, we have to wait and hold on to the person until 8 o'clock to go in front of the judge. By the time that gets over, and then you get back here, you're looking at almost 10 o'clock at night. To not be compensated for that, I don't think it's fair. I know a lot of agencies, even the agencies in this county, if you talk to the sheriff's department, they get overtime per day. And it's not, regardless of a PTO or sick leave, for the rest of the pay period. It's per day. And again, it's gonna be very minuscule that even happens, because she's normally out on time. It really only affects one person right now. But in the future, just any full-time officer. And I would probably make some parameters even above and beyond this. Like if it's 3:30 and it's a report that I just got something happened in the last year, you were just reported it now. Shouldn't get overtime. You should go and get the information from the person, write it down. You can come back tomorrow and your regular scheduled workday and finish the report then. So it's not going to include overtime back.
So it's not like it's got to be an emergency.
It's got to be something where you're obviously you're stuck in the middle of that, so you can't leave.
Like,
or if you're on a fatal accident or some other type of emergency situation where you are here. Unfortunately, we can't just say, sorry, you got to leave. We have to be here, so we should be compensated for those hours.
And those parameters is something that you could talk to her about, what is
So I would
considered.
I would make it a general order like I do on anything that you electable. I would make a general order saying, this is it right here. I know more about it, the state police. So if it's over your shift, although they have someone they might be able to relieve you, you have to call a supervisor if it's after your shift to ask permission for overtime. So you just can't just automatically get it, they'll tell you what do you want, And there might be some parameters, like I said, it's just a report call, get the information. If you finish the report tomorrow morning, the next time you come in and work. But if it's something emergent, then you have to stay. We don't have, unfortunately, we don't have the luxury like the state police do, that they can send them the car.
Someone to
We are it,
Yeah.
so we're stuck. So it's something to consider. I'm just asking, just to be fair to, it's, again, it only affects one person, and it's very rare that it probably happens.
And we did have that incident with our cop that she arrested somebody and she had to wait till 8 o'clock before she could transform over to Norwich. And so we do have that once in a while.
They're
I mean,
still
it
working
doesn't,
out the kinks over at the county level.
because the problem is they don't have enough officers, like for her to take over and drop off. And another officer at county waits to, like they hold 5 people that are waiting to get arraigned at 8 o'clock. There's short help over there because this has been brought up at county level. Like, this is a problem. Change the hours or get someone that can watch the people while we're taking them over. But they were short staffed because this has happened a lot and people are complaining
Yeah,
about
there's
it.
that, and there's also so 8 o'clock is when they come in. But let's say you got to call there by 7 to arrange the judge to be there at 8, but you don't make, so there was a night person or whatever it was, so it was during the day. If she doesn't make the arrest till after that time, they don't call the judge. So then there's nobody, then you're stuck to the next morning.
Until 8 a.m. in the morning.
So, yeah, they gotta fix that. There's some.
There's
kinks that-
some kinks in it and it's been discussed at county a lot.
There's like the state police, for instance, they have to take 2 troopers off the road to house the person and watch the person. So that means there's, right, so, and wait. So that means there's
Nobody
on
in
the
the
street.
street.
2 trooper cars.
It's a problem. That county's working on it too. It's definitely an issue. So,
That's it, I think. I mean, everything else is going well. We're moving forward and hopefully we'll have the rest of this stuff a little better with all the equipment's coming in. And then, figure out how it's gonna fit all in there.
right.
Just so, I know that it's a multi-purpose room, but I know that the judge had mentioned that there's gonna be a hearing coming up where she wants to utilize that for the grand jury, which I have no problem with. But she was talking about maybe taking the desk out of there, we need more room. Not be able to take the desk out of there.
Because the live scans.
Well, the live scans will be one corner, but there'll be a laptop computer on the desk, or something on the desk. So when we do interviews, we have a computer, in there. So it's not just be able to, do whatever we can for her.
Right.
And if there is no handicap individuals, it might be better to sequester them up in the conference room. Because that's a small room to put 7
Yeah.
people plus in there.
Couldn't you unplug the laptop and keep that in the office locked? Because I know during regular court, a lot of attorneys or the DA bring people in that room, so you don't want the laptop in there for them.
It's either gonna be a laptop or a desktop, but it's gonna be in there under a network. It's gonna go to that, it's gonna also be included into that live stream. So, I mean, if worse comes to worse, I mean, I have no problem sharing the room. As we talk, we're gonna lock it during non-business hours and then distribute the keys to the courts, whoever needs it, or we'll unlock it during court time. You'll also have a key to it, so if you needed something for a private session or something like that. But mostly, we gotta have that ability to secure that, and the purpose of that room is mainly for interviews and everything else. This is all just ancillary.
Yeah.
I mean, the live scan grant's gonna pay almost like, I think, $1,500 to
Did I
$1,800
give you those copies yet? Of those bills? Okay, the banks bills?
No.
Oh, okay. I have them in my file for you.
Okay, because there's a whole bunch of stuff I have to fill out,
Yeah.
probably work out with.
He can get some of the engineering bills that we put the wall up and everything to make it. There's a little bit money left in the grant after buying the live scan that we can put towards the making of the room. It's not gonna cover the whole thing, but it'll cover, and we can put that money back into building and grounds.
That'll be nice to be able to recoup some.
Some of that money, yeah. It's not gonna be a lot, but there's a little left that he can do it.
Take anything
Yeah.
we can.
Love the grants.
No,
Okay,
no, it's if I don't use it though. You said you will.
yeah, right.
No,
So
it's going into the room.
yeah.
Thank you, Dave.
All
Okay,
right, thank
great, thanks. Okay, for my report, just a couple things. At the last board meeting, the chief of police in South Berlin, chief of fire department, I'm sorry, I was talking about Toby's thing. I got the email that they sent 2 order of remedies to the owners. Because I went over to county, talked to codes, and they did go and look at it, and they wrote 2 remedies up. So I'm giving this to give to the chief of police. I made a copy for Debbie to put in the record. Or fire, sorry.
Fire chief.
Fire chief.
There you go.
Sorry. So I just wanted to give you an update on that. Next thing, county, I talked to you a couple about it. Budget is really crunching at county. They're anticipating probably going over the 4% cap this year. And a lot of it is due to state mandates that they've been 2 million of new state mandates that they've been enforced to do. I mean, they get some funding, but not all of it. And the budgets over there are up. It's crazy. I can't believe the amount of money that is spent at county level. It's kind of like, wow. So-
They can't find places to cut it. Well, they don't want.
In each committee, you bring it to each committee. I'm on finance of, not finance, I'm on health and human resources, and I'm on safety. The chairman of safety committee really wouldn't let them leave the room until they cut something. Everybody was cut, so he wasn't letting them leave. The one only got 500 cut, but he cut it. And, but the other one is all DSS, mental health, probation, like there's a lot of things. The probation I think did cut, but the mental health and the DSS, a lot of it's state funded. So you can't cut the lines because you're cutting your state funding. So the shockers were me with the DSS and the mental health, the amount of money that's spent.
Mental health is.
It's crazy.
But it's needed.
It's needed. It's so bad. And like I asked her, we were under, like we hadn't spent all in a couple contracts. I'm like, can't you cut those a little? She goes, I'd rather cut it up here than down there because I just don't know. I don't know. So get ready for that. They all said that they're gonna try to stay. This is just precautionary. They don't know. We have a big, like the transit, the bus line costs us $2 million. They want to look at that because is it being used effectively? Is it effective? Should we do something else for public transit? Because we used to use it for Office of Agent to deliver the homeless meals, and now we bought our own fleet for the Office of the Agent, so they deliver the meals because they're getting to more people now instead of just the transit. And because the transit would drop off at one location, they wouldn't go out into the back roads and stuff, and now Office of Agent are getting to more elderly people, and we got it all through grants, and so they're really looking at transit, but it's just, I want you to be ready for county going over 2%. So we're trying, but it's a lot of number, and I'm only on 2 committees, so I can't imagine the rest of it. Other than that, I will tell you, I have not, from the last board meeting, the 4-wheeler thing, I wanted to talk to our insurance company, if that would affect our insurance, if we make a local law to change the 4-wheeler, because I don't know if it would affect our insurance for the town. And I also want, like you said, John talked to the lawyer. I called the lawyer, he didn't call me back. So I haven't done anything on that, so I apologize. So I just want to start making notes because we've talked about this over time. And we table things and I don't make notes to bring them back up for the next month, and I'm going to try to do better. So I just wanted to let that out. And I think that's all of that. Yeah, if they ask you. If they ask you, but I don't have any answers yet, so I apologize. Budget's tough. That's my first year going around. It's been tough. All right, let's move on to town justice. Any questions? No? And like you heard David say, she is going to have a grand jury, was that what it was?
Jury trial.
Jury trial here. South of Berlin Water. Where do we start with that one?
They're working on those hydrants.
Before I leave, just one last thing. The 19th of September is the public information session on the Village of New Berlin water.
Okay,
And I anticipate that we will soon be putting our water meters out to bid. We have a grant on that, but there is a bidding process. We know kind of the direction we'd like to go, but the grant agency has very specific parameters as to how we have to solicit the bids. And I've talked to you already about some of the pros and cons of some of them.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you posted on that. If in fact there's any efficiencies to be had, we'll let you know.
all right, and that's when the bids are going out, September 19th?
No, the 19th is just a public information session on what the scope and scale of the project
that
is.
at?
And that's gonna be down at the Chobani Center at 6:30.
Okay.
And essentially, these are the grants that we have, these are the loans that we've got. This is what we anticipated being as far as a change in annual fee, as far as debt retirement, and then what, if in fact there's gonna be any impact on quarterly bills. We do not, and I believe that we can do it without impacting quarterly bills.
Thanks, Pete.
All right, good night.
Okay, back to our
I'm
meeting.
saying, so they've been working on the hydrants with the, cutting a lot of bolts and working with the battery pack. So whenever they run out, of course, the battery runs out.
Yeah.
But so anyhow, they said there's a lot of bolt work there on those. They rusted down and. So
Probably
they're
from the
getting
salt.
those caught up. They're working on them anyway. And, that new skid with the chlorine business, that's still acting up. And the guy's supposed to come and take a look at it. Sounds to me like he's got a bad fit or something that pretty much loses time.
Was he coming today? I think, was it today he was coming, Tuesday, or was it next Tuesday?
I think it's next Tuesday.
Okay,
Second air, something.
Because it's not today, because I just talked to him.
okay, yeah, because I know Matt told me he was
Matt
coming.
tonight.
Okay, I knew he told me he was coming.
And the meters, he said that he hooked up, what, one or two of them at least, and he's got to get some connectors.
Yeah, and the wire,
To connect the wires on,
whatever those things
so
are.
that they're waterproof connections, so they don't have leaks and problems, like corrosion in the water. Said he got a reading, so.
Well, because we met with Ferguson again, because we talked about buying these new meters, and we're gonna go with the manual read, and we thought the quote was 15,000. That was not the right quote. He didn't understand what we were asking. And so we've got 3 other quotes for meter reads, and we're talking $45,000 to $48,000 to buy the new meter, and we go back manual. Well, after that meeting, Debbie got a call, which I don't know if I told all of you this, from a town in Berlin, New York. Because we've been waiting for our new antenna heads for our meters to work. The guy, you can't get a hold of him. He said they'd be here the latest June 22nd. They weren't here. I called him. He never called me back. She got a call from a municipality in Berlin, New York, and they have a skid of heads for meters that is not part of their water project. And were they ours? And they were ours. And they've been sitting there for 3 weeks. So Matt went up to get them. So now we have all the which they promised us, remember, because they wouldn't work, the batteries went dead. So Matt hooked a couple up and they do work. So now we got to send letters to all the homeowners to get them in there. And I think him and Paul are going to have to get in. Did anybody respond to the picture thing that you sent?
2.
They have to let us in the basement for the lead. That has to be done by October.
Right.
So we're gonna have to send another letter out in the next week or so to get a thing, and we can get these new heads on, and we can start getting readings.
They still refuse. What are you gonna do?
I don't know what we do.
I'm gonna charge them. We have a guy coming back in again. He was the guy who came and showed us the lead survey template that we have to fill out by October.
Right.
He's gonna come back in and sit with Matt and I to go through that template. When he was here, it was a fairly astronomical fine that you can send them and you can forewarn them that they could be fined up to, it was a lot. I forget exactly what the amount was. But the problem is, we could also receive that fine. But within the limits of the law, we can send
Make
that
them
fine
pay.
off to them.
Up to them.
Right, because we have to get this done.
Right.
I mean, the people that have already let us in, we still gotta get back in to put the new heads in so we can get a reading. But now we're at the point, okay, do we still take the ARPA money and buy new meters and go the manual way? Or do we just put these new heads in that they sent us and see how long that works? And we're still gonna have a problem in a couple of years. I don't know. We're like torn on what to do. Or do we take the rest of the ARPA money and put the new heater and coolant system into the water plant? So, because we have to allocate, we don't have to use it, we have to have it allocated to something by October, all of our ARPA funds.
The thing of it is, we're gonna, sooner or later, probably will have trouble with meters anyway, but more sooner we will probably need some of this other stuff.
Yeah,
So, you know, it's kind of a priority list.
yeah, we gotta really analyze what we need first, because we do need to have extra pumps on the shelf, extra fittings, extra that. That's to enhance our water thing, and that stuff we need. Because when we have a pump go down, it's bad, you know?
Yeah,
So
if the meters don't work, that's one thing, but you can still supply water to
Water to them.
and supply good water to everybody. The problem is when you have trouble making good water or making water at all, that's when you got a
Got a
problem.
problem.
Yeah, I would rather make sure that we have good water and water.
And I
coming in.
talked to K&K, he says the generator is there, he's scheduling it to get the pad, and I told him whatever we needed to let me know. And he said that will be happening pretty soon. He didn't give me a date yet, so I'll double check with him, but I did call him.
There's some work they want to dig out some and put some gravel on where the pad's gonna go.
Oh, did he contact Matt, maybe?
And, yeah.
Okay,
And,
so they're working on
they're
that.
gonna be, they get some stone in there and that sounded like the contractor's gonna come and tamp it and then
Get the pad, because
Put the pad in.
that was gonna cost us $1,500 extra. And we told him to do it because we were short a guy then. So that's, it's all good. Matt did call, he thinks we had another leak because one day we were high. Even though we did a flush, he thought it was higher, and the guy, rural water, was coming out to listen to more hydrants to see if we got any more hydrants.
that's another thing. They've been checking and they haven't found leaks, which is a good thing, but this is a good time here to do that because before it gets any cold or whatever, fixing leaks in the middle of winter kind of
It's like,
stinks.
fun, yeah.
And then the other thing that Matt asked, and I am 100% on board with, is shutting Lizzie's campground water off for the winter.
Yeah, he's telling me about that.
They have used thousands and thousands of gallons through leaks that they did not get charged for.
He said they just pull a meter and pull it back full, that preventer valve there and put them in the pump house and wait till spring.
And then we'll come back and hook them up.
Could save a whole lot of trouble.
I would like to see if we could put a pit in there, because, so they don't tamper with it.
So you could put a pit for,
The
the
campground,
only problem with the campground as it is currently plumbed, it goes all the way across the campground from the curb stop and it tees off to where he lives.
and Matt already told
So-
them, they just said, we're shutting the water off, so you're gonna have to,
We're gonna have to tap
But a
the main
meter-
and run a separate line
It is.
to his
Oh.
home that could be year round and the campground can be
Shut off.
seasonal.
because they've lost so much water. And that's chemical water, you know,
Yeah,
power, energy. So,
Not fair to everybody else.
no,
Yeah, 'cause I was talking to him about the difference you see in the flows. You know, and he said, well, there's a couple things that cause that, but he said sometimes when something just busts open and leaks and, you know, maybe after a day or two, he notices it shuts it down or something.
Yeah.
So, but basically, it's moving ahead. You know,
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
we haven't had complaints of brown water, right?
No,
I think the
exactly.
I
Doing
think the
something.
backwashing has helped the brown water situation.
Yep.
I think it's been really good.
that, the chemicals.
And the different chemicals, yeah.
That's,
Well, maybe we should go with meters and two things, and put them in.
Let's see. Maybe we could get
Everybody
another,
else work.
he's getting a grant for meters, maybe we could get another grant, even though we had a grant that paid for 120 of them, that didn't work. You know, I don't know.
Well, down the road, there'll probably be, probably more grants and stuff, but like I said.
Yes, and they just can't stand it because we're like, we want the old fashioned way. We don't want we want to go backwards in time, we don't want the newfangled, the best thing. We want old fashioned.
It's one of those, if it ain't broke, don't
Don't
fix
fix it.
Or make it so if it does break,
You
you
can-
can fix it.
Yeah. Or you can still get a reading. All right, that's all on water, I guess, for now. Next, assessor, any questions? She didn't put a report in. I do have that thing that I gave you, but I figured we'd talk about that during budget prep
Okay, with the assistant. or
with the assistant, because that's
Okay.
really a budget issue. It's not gonna happen
Yeah.
this year, okay?
Yep.
All right, town clerk? Any questions? Deb, this Millbrook, is this what we still get? This $5,445? That's what we're gonna get this month in a check?
Yes.
Oh, that's great, okay. Okay, good. I don't have any other questions. Anybody else? Millbrook. Connie, got anything for us?
A couple of things actually. One, the fishing derby went off really well. And we got, the kids had a blast. They absolutely had a blast even though it was raining. I talked to Dan Harrington. I asked him if him and his family, because they do their tree cutters for a business, if they could volunteer some time up to Millbrook and get some of these trees that had fallen chunked up. He said he'd be more than happy to come up, but he needs approval from the board to do so.
To cut, there's like a lot of down trees, like in the woods and stuff that fall. Is he gonna take the wood with him?
He said he would chunk it up, we could do whatever we wanted with it. But he
Okay.
would volunteer, him and his brother would volunteer some time to come up and get it all chunked up, probably in October.
Okay.
I can get with him more, but he definitely said he needed permission from you guys to do so. So,
John, make a motion to have Harrington's volunteer time.
Yep.
A second.
Second.
Roy, April. Roy's good. Okay, Roy. Okay. All in favor? Aye.
I think other than that, the other thing is the veterans exemption.
Yes.
We have one person that does come up there that camps, that he is a veteran, and he's got the whatever number that he needed to show that he is a veteran. I did call around to all the state campgrounds, and they're pretty much the same over the whole board, across the board, I should say, that, here, let me get it out. They have to pay upfront, pay in full upfront. But once they get there and they show their ID and prove that they're a veteran, then they get just about 100% back. But the state campgrounds also charges like an $8 fee
Yep.
to rent, to
Processing
make,
fee, yes.
yeah.
Yep.
And that's the only thing that they don't get back.
Yep.
So
They just
pretty
get
much
the
they're
thing.
gonna pay $8 to camp for a weekend, and everything else they get back. Now, I did talk to Adventure Bound, which is more like us, and they do a 15%. And they can do that over the phone and put it in as, they don't have to.
So we can call our
Yeah.
web designer to put a tab in for veterans exemption,
Probably.
do you think?
I mean, I know I can adjust on my end for
You
when they
could,
come
it
in.
probably would be easier if you guys did like sort of like if you did, I don't know if you'd want to go with a 15, but even if you did a 50%, then that's something that they can just handle up there. Because if you put that tab, then who is going to click on there and use it? How are you gonna
Right.
And
stop
we
them?
could do it like
In-house.
The state does when they get there, but that's gonna prove to be, they're gonna have to pay it up full.
Right, and then we give them,
And then
we
when
give
they
them a
come in,
refund.
then you would have to give them a refund or cut them a refund check or whatever to prove that they're a veteran. We could do it, two different ways.
So we need to decide what we're gonna do for 2025 season for veterans.
Well, that's on, but right there.
Yeah.
In-house,
Like do it in-house.
let them pay the
Do
full and then they come up and prove that they're a veteran, anybody can say.
Yeah,
What
because like I
percentage?
do a refund for anybody else, I can write on there, this is a veteran refund. Bring it to you guys, get the invoice or the PO for it, and then you guys just cut them a check.
And then we mail the check back.
And you mail the check out to them.
Okay.
50%, that was one.
Yeah, the only thing I'm
We can
wondering
afford
about
50.
is if they're doing it, what if they say they're coming up for the whole summer? I mean,
Well, they can only stay 14 days at a time.
that's what I was wondering. I didn't know how that works.
Yeah,
so,
we don't
yeah.
have seasonals, so it's
All right.
14 days at a time,
And
and
they
this
have to-
particular person only stays like a weekend here and there. So he loves it up there, but he was asking once again about the veteran.
You say,
Yeah, we can't afford that much.
you
So, and
say,
it's
you
just-
say
at this
14
point,
days,
it's just
you
one
say
guy.
14 days at a time, how long does he have, that he can do it again? That they could do it again?
A day. the
That's
next
what
day.
I mean,
Okay.
that's-
Yeah.
He has to, if he wants to
That's
do it
pretty
again,
Yeah.
then he would have to jump a campsite
Right, right.
to a different campsite. But this particular person only stays a couple of days.
Yeah, I know,
We
I-
don't have more than that. I'm
She's
thinking-
saying if somebody did do that, they could do it.
Right.
I'm thinking like the
Well,
15%.
How many people, we can open the door for the potential of a lot of.
And hitting us pretty hard with.
Right, because we can't afford it.
It's a good thing to put on a list
So, but
for a
that's-
committee when Sarah's here and
Yeah.
reconfigure
I mean,
what the
it's
rates are.
something changed till 2025 anyhow,
Right.
right? So maybe just.
Table it till we
Sarah,
can,
Since you
There you go.
kind of runs that.
so we have 50%, 15%
Yeah, look at that processing fee, they need to help you too.
processing fee.
So they all do it, all.
And so did they get rid of the amenity fee and now it's called the processing
Well,
fee?
either,
Or is
it's
there
either
both?
one, it's either one. Well, you know, they did have, I've seen it where
They have a
both.
reservation fee, a cancellation fee.
Yeah, they got all of it, usually $9, $8 to $9.
Cancellation
People don't have
fee.
a problem with it, they know.
And
they're
it's
gonna be-
usually the reservation fee is what they're talking about.
Right.
It's a $7 to $8 reservation
Yeah, but
fee,
you-
and that's what they keep and give them.
Right,
Yeah,
they
I
keep-
just everything else for it.
Even
We
if you
can't
cancel
do
it,
50,
that's
we
like,
can't
you
give
just go
them
keep the
If you did a certain
$70
amount
or whatever.
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah.
but then do
Yeah.
it for a limited so many days.
That's what I was afraid of. Somebody,
Okay.
I want to do next week and I want
I
to do
think
next
we
week.
wanna
And
limit
then
that.
we're-
Well, let's
For
face it,
like
if I can find
3
out, I
times a
can do
year.
all summer for practically nothing.
Yeah.
So like what, you want, like for 3 reservations or
I definitely could.
3 to
discuss
5
it.
reservations? Okay.
A more in-depth.
We can do it at a
conversation.
committee meeting.
That sounds good.
Okay, but, okay. I'm gonna add that to my list. Okay, and then, I don't know if y'all saw in the packet, they did, write a nice thank you letter. Did you see that, the Federation? Yeah, on the Millbrook report, they sent a letter that they really liked the fishing building.
Can I go back to Millbrook for a minute?
Yeah.
And I know it's petty, but I'm gonna say, can we order toilet paper by bulk?
Oh,
Because I'm looking at the vouchers and it's like toilet paper, toilet paper, toilet paper, toilet paper. Can we just
Like a
get it like a
case.
case of toilet paper somewhere and then just not have to run out all the time for it? I mean,
We
Seems to me it would
probably
save
could
us so
off
many-
of Amazon.
there's.
Or even if you went to Dollar General and got like 6, 8, 10 of them for the season.
Yeah,
oh,
I
because
think,
I know, what's his name buys it in bulk at Lowe's, I think, for the garage.
yeah, I'm just thinking that I don't know what the Dollar, I don't really go to the Dollar General, so I don't know what kind of toilet paper they have. If you're using a certain kind, but I mean, some of it just, I have a teenager, I go through it like candy, so.
I find that
So
we
I-
go through less of it in the porta potties and less in the men's bathroom than we do in the women's bathroom.
Well,
Like
that
one
makes sense.
weekend, we can go through because our thing has 4 rolls on it.
Right.
We could have a half a roll left by the end of the weekend, and it's like, what are you people
Yeah, it just
doing with
makes
the
sense.
toilet paper?
Right, we might be able to save a few dollars if
Yeah.
we're trying to pinch So
Well, at
many,
least it would save a few trips.
right,
Yeah.
right, gas back and forth.
And it's,
I can look into it and see what I can come up with.
We don't mind
usually
saying-
use like
If we get-
Lowe's, DG. I'm trying to think where else you can get it. Oh, Walmart, because I know she's got the account now with Walmart.
Yeah.
So that's like 3 of our current vendors that we could see what the bulk
Yeah,
price is.
I mean, it's gotta be cheaper than running
Well-
down there. It's gotta be.
just the idea of the running, if nothing else.
I mean, I have a
That's
BJ's card, I can price it out at
Sam's card,
BJ's
too.
too, and see if you can, because they sell by the case there too, we can look and put it on the credit card.
Good idea.
I don't know,
Okay.
just, I'm sorry, just noticed
No.
that this time.
No, that's good.
Save your money, got it.
The other
Okay,
thing is we did get the boards onto the dock,
okay.
2 of them that needed, that he was talking about, but there is one more or
I
2
got,
more.
I got one more board just change out, but we really need to change out an extra one.
There's one more that really needs some.
Because when I popped the one up, I didn't, the one that was right next to it was all rotted at the bottom. So I really need to go and get another 2x6 10,
Okay,
and I think that should do it.
okay. And then we got the paint to paint that, right? Are they painted? The
Well,
No,
but
no.
you
They're just-
know,
they're
you
just
said to
treated.
just do
We-
the, because of how
But
much
is
the
it
paint was
painted?
gonna be.
Is the deck
It
painted?
used to be, yes, but it's not anymore.
Just the railings are green.
Painted
And
now,
the
yeah,
bench
but
is
the
green.
decking board, the whole thing used to be painted, but it's worn off.
Oh,
That's
okay.
probably why it's starting to rot. But,
Well, it's old too.
you said to just do the one pavilion and that's all I got the paint for.
Yeah, because I didn't want, all 3 pavilions need to be painted,
It was gonna be like $400 for the
just for the
paint.
green
to do
paint. And I
whole
went,
dock,
let's get
all the
one
picnic
done this
tables
year,
that
get
need to be
3
done, and
gallons
all 3 pavilions.
and see, and then we'll do another one next year. So, okay. All right, next, anything else? Everybody good with Millbrook? You guys good?
I believe so, so it was a yes for Harrington then.
Yes,
Yes, good.
okay. All right, great, thanks Connie and
Alrighty.
Brian.
Thanks.
Okay, planning board. Do I need to make a motion for this? Is this all part of the reports, committee meetings?
Okay.
So do I need to make a motion? Somebody give me a motion? Have a good night, guys. You
Good night.
too. For committee meeting, April 2nd,
I'll second.
John. Okay, planning board, Teresa.
Okay, I wasn't there, I was off on vacation, yay, but this is what happened. I called Jeff yesterday and John and I just talked. The simple subdivision for AIG, which is down on County 15 is done. He's gonna call me, John said, in a couple of days, and I'll sign his survey and then he'll be able to take it to the county and that's done. A man named Brian Chapin called me. We had a conversation about that was my new name. Nice man, there's 90 acres up there, between Humphrey, it's gonna be the split and dead end road, and then there's a little piece of the county road on the bottom of it. I guess you guys reviewed it all and it all looked good.
Yeah.
What I had on my computer looked good. So we are gonna have to do a secret on that, so, yeah, and it'll have to go to the county. So that'll happen next month. And then there was a lady named Deborah Benedict, who had a whole bunch of questions on Billy Hill Road on the survey. And John said that they got her straightened out.
Yeah, it's been surveyed in 2016. But the problem is that property is on 2 sides of the road. So
See, when you have a piece of property and there's this little thing called a hook,
it's a hook, like a Z, looks like a Z.
it means it's all on the same tax
You'll see it.
map.
If that's there, that means it's all the same property, just on 2 sides of the road. So instead of her she wanted to ask us, well, do I still have to do a survey? Well, you still have to split that property somehow. Because I don't care, it's the same company that she's going to that did the survey in 2016. You go to him, he wants to remove those leaves, just give us a piece of paper that shows that both those properties are separate now. That's all we need.
That's how the division.
So she wants to have one side on a separate date and the other side on a separate date and set it all on one date.
Exactly. And that's up to the surveyor. I mean, it was all surveyed, so that's not an issue.
So she has got to hire someone to split that into
All
2
right.
separate.
She wants to do It won't
Is it- does
cost her as much, I guess, is like what she's trying to.
But it's gonna cost her more probably tax revenue because she's gonna
trying
have
to
two
sell.
parcels.
She's selling one
She's
parcel.
selling one.
Oh, so she
Oh, I was
doesn't
just-
care, okay,
She's
because
got
I
a
was
buyer
gonna
all ready
say,
to go, and she's all nervous, and
right, because now she's gonna have two tax bills, two tax
No,
parcels.
she wants to sell, she wanted it done by the end of the month, I said, it's not gonna
as
happen.
long as they tell us how many acres. road frontage is.
Because they'll have to assign a tax number
That's
to
still
both
simple
of them.
stuff.
Okay, and where was that on the old
That's on Dilly Hill Road.
Dilly Hill Road.
Dilly Hill?
I'm not specifically
No,
sure
I'm not-
where on
right,
Dilly
I
Hill
know.
Road. She
What
didn't
was
give
the
me a
name?
number.
Benedict,
Benedict. Okay,
somewhere close to, Giovanni there.
I wonder if he's buying that.
That,
Maybe.
what was their name? I don't know. They all gone anyway.
Yeah.
The old whatever farm, right?
Right.
Just a quick thing. I have a new secretary. I'm not doing it anymore because you wouldn't let me. On the August 1st minutes, she has here, public meeting open, closed public meeting. There was no public meeting. So you just scratch that out of there and then the minutes become correct.
We'll
Then
make that, we can make that correction.
we will make the correction, but just so you know.
Oh, maybe she thought like it was just on past ones, so she thought she should have it, and even though you didn't have
Well, we
one.
do, every meeting is opened with public discussion. And I
Oh,
think that's where she screwed up.
oh,
Instead
okay.
of putting public discussion, she put public meeting. And a public
Yeah,
meeting
you
is
said
very
you-
different than a public
You
discussion.
better be sensitive, but she'll.
Oh, I'm
quit.
gonna be very careful,
She'll quit.
very careful. I don't want her to quit.
Just that's for the public to talk and,
Right,
Uh,
just a little tweak there, Kathy, no big deal. Then I have a question. You guys want us to develop something of a policy for the driveway. How detailed do you want this to be? Because we're gonna start the discussion next month.
I want you to call Brandon, because he says a driveway has to have a standard,
He's gonna
is
help
it
us, yeah.
He's going
15?
to come, I spoke to
Okay.
him before the meeting,
Something
He's
about
gonna
a fire
come on
truck
the
getting up the
October-
driveway, it's gotta be
on
a
the
certain width.
October 3rd meeting to tell us what he is thinking. But, I just wanna know how detailed you want this whole thing to be.
Well, I think this is width. Is one of the biggest issues.
And make sure they have enough road frontage.
They would have to have enough space before their neighbor's property.
Like, I would say it has to be 10 foot past the neighbors,
Yeah,
on each
property
side of
line.
the neighbor.
See, and
Or property
oddly enough, when this conversation started with Brandon a while back, I tried to search our records and it kept referring back to us having a driveway
Yeah,
permit
sure.
application.
I can't find it.
So where is
And
it?
It was in minutes where they were saying something about the county wanted us to be a part of something that they were doing, and
Well,
the
they
town board, and this is going years back, the town board said, no, thank you, we have our own driveway permit application and process. But I searched and searched and I find nothing
Something
about,
maybe they
I
never
called
did it.
Dan,
They
he,
never did it. That was the next thing I was gonna say. It's my job to, everybody took a town. My job is to find out how the state approaches this and how the county approaches it. Guess what? The county has a form all made out of how to get a permit or how you can do a driveway.
Perfect, get it.
I've got it home. Did I bring it? No, I didn't bring it.
Use that as a template.
Yes, so I'm wondering, we'll look at that. That is a little detailed, but not bad.
No.
And I thought I
Like
would
said
show it to
before,
Brandon
you know,
too and see,
We
is
want it
this
pretty, we want it
something?
simple.
But even though I have that, you still have to have something on the books
Right,
that make that happen.
right. So at least you got a template to follow.
If you deal with the state highway, trying to do something with that, they have specs.
Right.
Well, we
All kinds
can't
of
approve
All
anything
kinds
on
of
the
specs,
state.
yes, I know.
Yeah, we
I've been
can't,
through that,
right?
but at least you'd have the
That's it.
specs is what he's saying.
This is just our local roads. We
I'm
can't.
saying, yeah, and I think what you're saying is, you know, where I would be headed to keep it simple,
Yeah, the simple, better.
as basic as you can.
So maybe you should get the state one and the county one,
Our
compare them,
Well,
Teresa.
our two concerns, I think, or top concerns is, well, one is make sure emergency vehicles can get in there
Right.
and property lines. How far from each property line, because that's one of the issues we're having now. So,
Right.
Okay. All right. Just one.
And maybe get both the state and county and get
Well, I've
two
got the
temp.
county form, I haven't read the county's whole thing.
Right, but they will be good templates that you can use.
You know, and like you say, again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If somebody's already done all the groundwork, we can just tweak it to our
Just
own
like that
needs.
comprehensive plan.
Well, there's some things you could, at least you could look through it
Through
and
it.
see that we don't make a rule that, goes against everything
Right.
we want to do anyway.
Right,
Right,
right.
That's right, yeah.
Because we can only control what happens off a town road.
right.
So here's my curiosity, have we had any new homes or even manufactured built on a town road?
Yes.
Yes.
How are they getting to that home that was vacant land?
With a driveway that we haven't had any control over.
So it's kind of
Other than-
interesting how that's.
The only control we've had is put in sluice pipes.
Right.
Or the other would be at least having enough road frontage to put a home.
Oh, well, they have to have
Yeah,
two
they gotta
hundred
have
and fifty feet.
Feet of road frontage.
Right,
They
well,
have
they
to have
can't, they
that.
can't put it.
That's a
Oh,
minimum. We've
Right.
tweaked it a little bit with people who
People,
just didn't add it. So we've given them up to 50
Variance.
feet
Right.
with a variance. But other than that, no, you have to have.
Seeing that
250
property in question, they have road frontage and their house is there. They just want a secondary driveway, but there wouldn't be enough road frontage to build a
Well, that
home.
is another thing. Do we want to say you can only have one driveway into your property?
See, on these,
Well,
239,
some people do circular
on
driveways,
these,
so.
you can't do that anymore.
No,
What?
You can't.
no,
State of New York won't let you do it.
no, and the
I
state of
tried,
New York,
no way.
no,
Well,
because
you
that
know,
was,
down to Harrington where the apartments is there, that's
Yeah.
why you block that out, because you only have one entrance. You
My
can't-
daughter has two
Yeah.
on Highway
So do I.
8. She has a circle.
I moved.
No,
you better
I
not say,
agree,
just
yeah, I
better
know.
not open mouth.
But that's why they did, you ask them, it's not the same thing.
That's interesting.
Years
I bet
ago-
they would stop her if she
years
got it paid.
ago, For the church, I went
Could
to
be.
see the state, because on Route 8, of course, I went to see the state about having the driveway at church. And I got all the regulations, everything, and so we were getting ready to do that handicap entrance on the north side of the building. So we were kind of halfway into that anyhow, so I said, well, we'll proceed. A couple of years later, my son says, Dad, we're talking about, I think we were talking about paving the driveway. He says, I'll stop and see the guy. The guy says to him, are you using the driveway? He says, yeah, we use the driveway, so I don't worry about it. Just go ahead and do it.
Wow.
Wonder if there's ones that are like grandfathered in, that are already there before
But
they're.
they can't do
Yeah,
a circular driveway.
I did hear you're not supposed to have more than one driveway on a
Yeah.
state road, not more
Well,
than one
it's true on
driveway.
the county,
There's so many
because that
people.
split we did down there on the county road, the DOT,
So many
the
people
thing they
can't- so
said,
many people
only
aren't
one
going.
way.
The worst thing can happen to you is if you're on an intersection. Because I think the Dollar General looked at something on the corner, out in Berlin.
They did. look
They
at
did
that.
look at it.
And it's like.
Because that's why they did
The
that.
driveways, you gotta be a mile away from that corner, and
That's right, yeah.
Oh, too
Yeah, there's-
bad, that would
Lot
have
of
been nice
regulations.
there.
Yeah, they talked to us about buying the old firehouse when we were moving.
They had called me and asked me what our zoning was for that whole piece of property, and I said, there's no zoning. You can do anything you want. Carry. Okay. Oh, and now the 19th, what time am I meeting you and where?
I will let you know, I just got this phone call today, they were setting it up for the 18th and 19th, I said, I'm out the 18th, but if you can set up for the 19th, text me and I will text our planning board for, because they kept saying about Kathy Koch, I said, I think Kathy Koch is retiring, isn't she?
Yes.
I said, so
At the
Teresa-
end of the year.
I said, Teresa Clark is the president, I said, so it'll be Teresa I'll be bringing, not Kathy.
Why would they even?
I don't know if she's, I don't know, it was weird, he must have knew she was on the planning board.
Who's he?
Terry Potter.
Oh.
And,
Well, what we need in this town is long-term rentals, not, if anything, these people are low you know, some
Like,
affordable rentals, let's put it that way.
affordable,
You
affordable,
know, within reason anyways.
yeah.
So he's talking again about building homes, large homes?
No, affordable, small homes, and then I think South New Berlin was gonna be luxury, like a little more expensive home. But up on Route 8 in Columbus, that's why there's like 3 municipalities part of this. And I'm like, I'm telling you right now, the one in South New Berlin, I don't think our water plant could give them water. And I
No.
guess they've
He
already
was
talked
told
to
that the
Norwich.
last time, when he was talking about putting up a 200-room hotel with a casino and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and the water, we told him, didn't we, John?
Yeah.
That the South New Berlin water supply did not supply water to him.
Is this Terry Potter or is this the guy who
No.
owns that
No.
property?
No.
Terry Potter is working
Yeah,
with the
MNW.
people that own that property. They got him an engineer, they got him,
Do they have a name for that now? Is it
it's something
Something-
big.
about
And-
affordable?
What is it?
Because they're buying land everywhere. They
Well,
bought more
that one I
parcels.
knew, but I received a call today from somebody. They wanted to know if I had the contact information for 38 North Main. It was called Shenango
Helping Hands.
They're
That's Terry Potter's organization,
Helping
yeah.
Hands. And so when I looked up the address, I said, well, that's Terry Potter. If that is something, you know, I mean, I wasn't gonna give out his phone number, but I know that he works at, another place in
Norwich.
Norwich. So I gave them the name of that business.
But
that they could
Terry's
contact
the one that's called me. They're getting the Shenango Commerce there. A big engineer, I can't remember his name, Stan Foltz, Diane Scazzo, they're calling, they call the town of New Berlin, and a bunch of people from Shenango County. Because they wanna help him succeed in getting this off the ground. And because they're really worried that they bought land in Broome County, that if they can't get it off the ground here, that they're gonna move it all to Broome County.
One could hope.
But the Madison Farm, or the Maxon Farm is where they wanna do the income, they're not saying low income, but they're saying affordable housing. But it's gonna be open for anybody to be able to buy. Not just for, like, they were talking about a Muslim community before.
Yeah.
This is gonna be open for anybody. And I
So
think
these are
that
to buy or to rent?
these are
Housing to rent.
I think they're to buy. Like, they wanna build, this development company wants to build a housing development for people to purchase a home. So, and right now, there is so much federal grants for homes.
Well, the state of New York too.
Yeah, because you can get a grant to redo apartment buildings, there's a shortage of homes.
Yeah, then guess who you're gonna put those on?
Yeah.
If you try to get some more people border.
There's gonna be border people.
And I know, like, with all the staff at Chobani, that those houses would sell, because those people travel a long ways to come work at Chobani. People travel far to work at Chobani. And they would probably
And I
all,
don't have a problem with people who are working.
Right,
But
I
on
have a lot of problem with the people who aren't. Okay, so let me know what time.
okay, I will. This is all tentative. I just got the phone call this afternoon. I said, well, Stan just left county, I just left county, Diane, so I don't know if
The
you're gonna
other
get a
thing
hold of them.
is that I hope he brings a representative to speak on his behalf because he's.
They have well, that's what he thinks that the problem was the language barrier, so that they've worked on that. They're gonna present a slideshow. I think they've got an engineer that's made plans, blueprint, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I said, on some of these properties, I hope you're contacting DEC, because some of it's wetland. And I don't know.
Well, there is a small wetland, if I'm not incorrect, there is a small wetland. If you look at the Button property, my husband has been all over that property when he was a kid, when he was hunting and all
Right.
that stuff. The other thing you've got is
So they have to
Native
contact
American stuff. There is a possibility of that on that property
for
also.
digging.
So you've got a wetland that's way up and back on there. My concern is the DOT. How are you going to get in and out of that property because it's on such a curve.
Or, right, sure.
How are you gonna get in and out of that
Without
property
causing an
without
accident.
causing an accident? You have to have a lot of sight distance, and there's not. I don't care where you put
Because
the
you're going up the
access
hill. Yeah.
to go
Yeah,
onto
there's
that
no-
property,
Believe me.
there is no good sight distance.
Believe me, if they approve the buildings to do this, the state of New York will make sure they get it.
Oh, I'm sure they
Like that.
will.
Oh, there'll probably be a
Yeah, we do the road.
stoplight. There'll be a light.
And then you
Well,
have the fire
we do road
department
sleeves,
right
too.
there when you've got accident after accident after accident.
I just, this was just information that was brought to me today, and I said, well, I'll call Teresa and let her know, and I said, we'll try to make it. So,
I would like to make it because I wanna hear what they wanna do.
because I said, you know, they're gonna have to come
Going
to
to
the
affect
planning
our
board
lives.
with all this information.
Oh, yeah.
Just because we're going to a meeting, we can't say anything. It's all gotta be approved through the
Right.
planning board.
Exactly.
So,
And all the
Reach out
planning
to-
boards should probably be trying to work together.
so I'm wondering if
Everybody's
every
codes are different.
town supervisor will bring somebody from their planning board. Because I said, I'll bring somebody from our planning board.
There you go.
But this is just, like I said, he's been
I've
here
never-
twice and
That never happens.
nothing's.
That's what you told me.
I know.
Do you know how he got me to do this job? He told me, this is the direct quote, nothing ever happens in the town of New Britain.
Hey, we're moving up, we're getting bigger.
We're moving on up.
Yeah.
To
It
the
would be
east
nice,
side.
personally, it would be nice to see businesses come and make jobs. So
Right,
it
yes.
needs to go.
And get some
Well,
revenue in here.
Yeah.
Because what's gonna happen is, I think, in the state that we live in, they might very well, if they do build new houses, especially lower income houses, you know they're gonna fill them with people that are not gonna be our highest community citizens.
We
May not
need
be the
to
cream
get,
of
like
the
you
crop.
said,
We need the
businesses
jobs.
and
Without the
Well,
jobs,
what
we
kind of
can't
jobs?
sustain, people be
can't
here.
live here, so there's no jobs for
If there's
them.
no jobs, what are you gonna, you're not gonna get people to fill buildings anyway.
Right, right. And then they're building all this so for something they can't fill, because we need more jobs.
Well, they got government, they may have government money to build, but it's like, if you took the government money out of the solar panels, how many of them solar panels do you think would go up?
Oh, probably not many at all.
Not many, not anywhere. probably.
Yeah.
The other
because-
thing, though, the other
And
side of
talking
that
about the
is,
solar panels, how every time we've gone to one of those meetings, haven't we, for our credits for the
Yeah.
year, I have directly asked the man from the state, what are you gonna do in 25 or 30 years with these panels? How are you gonna recycle them? What are you gonna do with the stuff that's in there?
No clue.
And they have no clue. They said, well, we're still trying to figure that
Yeah.
out. But
How
that's
frightening is that?
pending.
He
Do you
said,
think it isn't
They don't
frightening?
he said to me, we're working on that. And
Yeah.
I asked again, and he
We're
wouldn't,
working
he
on it.
wouldn't respond to me anymore. Actually turned his head and walked the other side of the room.
Well, they don't know. They have no idea what's
I
going
never
on.
even gave that thought.
Yeah.
I
No.
never even gave that
25
long
years,
thought
yeah.
about.
Well, isn't it just like everything else that happens in our world right now? It's all about making this dollar, and they don't care what's gonna happen down the road to our children and our
My
grandchildren
great
with the crap that we're putting into the air and into the ground.
But I'll tell you how bad we were years ago when we were
Right.
working with fuel oil and
Right.
asbestos and all that. Wow, it was just terrible.
Yeah.
What are they doing now? Same thing. Just
Exactly.
there's money.
And as far as the electric vehicles go, hey, that thing runs on a battery, and guess what? The electricity that goes into that battery comes from coal and oil.
Yep.
It doesn't come from the battery. Watch one of those things explode on YouTube and you'll never sit in
No, is that right?
it. Okay, that was fun.
Okay, all right, I'll let you know.
but
All
the
right,
positive
thanks.
side of affordable housing is that they're not doing them as rentals, they're doing them as purchase.
That's what I'm
Owning a
thinking.
home is not affordable, so you have to have
Yeah.
someone in there
Right.
that has a job for the insurance, for the mortgage payments, the
For the
interest rates at
taxes.
where they are. So you're not gonna just have any,
No, that would be great. I
Anybody.
just don't know where anybody's gonna work.
right,
Be able
and
to-
maybe having more people will bring bigger businesses
Well,
into
sure,
Norwich that are all
just
empty
put,
buildings.
Oh,
Pin
yes,
Factory,
Schumer's office, some representative is supposed to be there from Schumer's office too.
it was on the Binghamton News tonight. Siemens is a
Lucky
big
you,
factory for,
We're all using just an arch.
trains, to manufacture parts for trains
Oh, wow.
down in Brimtown. So you see.
Yeah, really, Utica, Norwich, Binghamton, they're not that far off if we do have people up here. And think about what that does to the spread of property taxes. If you have
It would-
vacant land that now has several homes,
No, I mean,
that
that would be
takes some
wonderful.
tax
It would help
burden.
our tax base tremendously.
It would help our
But then it's a
taxpayers.
matter of them,
Can they afford them?
It'd be great, but like I say, there's usually a way that it works. Usually you provide the job, then you
And
Then
Then you build the
then you-
house.
Then you need the housing.
and I'm
Then
not
you-
really sure where the job market is now, but I know post-COVID, there were help wanted signs everywhere.
Well, you know,
There were so
I know
many
we're really
open
getting
jobs
off on a
available.
tangent here, but when I called Jeff yesterday to find out how the meeting went and everything, we were talking about BOCES. And he works at BOCES and he teaches welding. And this is really positive news. As an educator, I think this is positive news. The welding classes are full at BOCES.
Right.
And they work with Raymond Corporation. And a lot of the kids who graduate from that welding class go directly from BOCES and go to work at Raymond. And Raymond, he says, has done a lot to support the BOCES. He also said that all of the culinary classes are full, and there was one other one, I think maybe it was the CNA classes, they were all full. So at least these kids are getting jobs that are a trade
And that
that
are
we
local.
desperately need.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true.
So, there, I'm on the fan box, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm going home. I wanted to see Wheel of Fortune, but I think I missed it.
I'm thinking that's, well,
Sorry.
Well, it's the new guy tonight.
All right.
Take care.
thank you.
We're still on committees, right? John,
Yeah.
highway, anything on highway?
No, I don't think- doesn't go here.
Must be raining.
It's raining.
Yep.
Farming.
Building and grounds, John?
I think more.
Okay. Youth, Sarah's not here, but I think we covered most of it. Police, April?
Nothing new.
Okay. Ambulance, I didn't get her email report today. So,
Must be
The
all
only
right.
thing I got, which I think did I make copies for everyone? It was just the ambulance calls.
I usually get an email.
Oh,
I
you know
don't
what they
get
did? Instead of emailing, they hand delivered this to me. How many calls? Do you wanna just see how many
Okay.
calls there were?
Yeah,
I
I
do.
would really like to see that.
I'll make some copies.
I just make two. John doesn't care, Roy doesn't need one. Do you, Roy? I just want to see how much the town, because I'm telling you right now, there's gonna be a fight when we do the budget. He told us 5% tonight. I don't think we can afford 5%. I don't think. I don't want to lose our reputation and our ability to share services and stuff, but I don't think we
You
can
need to
afford
say-
5%.
You need to say that more to council.
Oh, I try to
just
get
saying,
people to, I tried to get
You know?
people to cut. Like today, our fuel contract, they have variable and fixed. Why aren't we going with the fixed rate? Why do we have both? And I said that today at county. And he said, I mean, this might sound stupid, but why aren't we going with the fixed rate? And if it goes lower, they give us the lower price.
You're
How many did the town have?
I also
We had
need
two.
a copy of whatever the handout was from Millbrook that wasn't part of the
Yep.
report.
That was her daily report. I don't know where it is. I have it. Yeah, I have two. We had 2 calls.
See, town, August 2.
4 in July, 4 in June, 11 in May.
freaking neighbor up there.
Yeah.
That's your wife. 106. The village got pretty good there, didn't they?
Yeah, they went from 13 to 5. What's my municipal is 9, 23 calls.
Is that the calls that they get total, or is that the calls they respond to? Is that what we're getting?
I'm trying to figure out what that's saying. It's
Because-
supposed to say total calls and transports by town. Oh, in July,
That's the
they
total
transported
14.
2 for the town of New Berlin. Year to date, 20.
No, we only had 2 calls, it looks like.
That doesn't mean that that was transported.
It
That
says
just means
total
2
total calls were 23 and,
And 14 were transferred.
and only 14 were transferred. So 14 were billable. Correct?
Yes.
'Cause
Where
if
are you
they
seeing
don't-
those numbers?
Right underneath it where it says the total calls and the transports. It says Village of New Berlin, Town of New Berlin, Town of Pittsfield, other municipal aid, total calls, transport.
That's what they're always complaining about, which I can't blame them.
No, because you don't get money.
You don't get money for it, you only transport it.
The transport's where you get the money.
You look at the April, May, look at that, then, and even March, almost calls, you only transported 20 some.
Well, I think part of the problem for August is they're stacking.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. Because I know Southtown,
Mhm.
they've taken more calls than that.
Because they're not down for maintenance,
And
maintenance.
a lot of them were in this area.
Yeah, I do see it for life.
I've seen some of those, that's quite a bit of it.
Yeah. It's happening.
So year-to-date, total calls were 301 and total transports were 142.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like transports and how they do it. And it's, yeah, it's, yeah. But that's not good.
Okay, I need to make a motion, I need a motion for the financial reports.
Okay.
John, second.
I can make a motion.
April. Before we do the abstract, I gotta tell you, I made a mistake and I made a resolution for it tonight, and I wanna know if we can put it in prepay. I had got an email for that from Viral Metrics, and I didn't know who it was, and I thought it was like a scam, and I deleted it. But then I tried to find it, and my niece found it for me, and it was for the live scan bill, and I don't know what happened to it. I must have deleted it again. I couldn't find it again. So I had to call David, and I said, see if they sent me a bill or if it was a scam. And because I didn't recognize who it came from. And I couldn't find it anywhere. I looked in all my boxes, and so they sent it back to me. Otherwise, I would have had it in last week, and I just put it in today. So I want to ask if we can prepay that because it's already been approved to put it in the prepays. We'll have to add it to our prepay in general. All right? Is that okay?
We don't have that in front of us, that's the 26,000?
Yeah, the resolution.
Oh, that's right. It's in
So
the
that
resolution
Joan,
amount.
I made a resolution for it because we got to take it out of police reserve to pay for it, but I want to make sure Joan can cut the check tomorrow. It's on that, it's not on our abstract, is what I'm trying to tell you.
2660.
Because I didn't get it in time because I thought it was a scam. Okay, so, is there any questions? Besides the toilet paper?
No. Back in COVID days.
Deb, this Penny Haddon, is this the one for the part that we pay for that, the 126.67?
Yes, that's our portion
Okay,
of
because I had a note to get her a PO and I never got it, so she must have got with you to get a PO for it. Okay. It's still on my desk. All right. Oh, I was wondering, I was gonna ask and I kept forgetting, I hadn't seen a bill for night shift in a long time.
I remember we talked about that.
Yeah, so they're still coming, because I don't think we had a bill for 2 months from them. Yeah.
So
So
I
it's,
have to look back, I don't pay attention if they send one each month, but if they
Yeah.
do, I process it. But
okay.
I'll have to look back and
I don't
see.
remember one last.
Do-
I wonder if one came early one month and one came late one month,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
that just seemed as if the following
Oh,
month was
that's
a 1 month
good to
skip.
know, they're on there, okay. Because who said, I put the garbage out, they take it, oh, the judge told me.
Yeah.
I put the garbage out, somebody takes it. All right, so is there any questions? All right, I don't have a resolution for this, then, I don't have a 44. I don't have a copy of 44 resolution.
I have it here in my packet, I made it
I
all.
got one,
I don't have one.
You have one?
I got one.
Well, maybe it's mixed in with this stuff. This was the stuff we already went through. Maybe it's mixed in.
Just says resolution number 44 at the top.
Maybe it's mixed in with the balance sheet. Okay.
Yep.
Local law. Oh, I got it, it's on the bottom, thanks, sorry. Okay,
April, you have yours?
yep, I have mine. All right, so somebody, have these numbers right for general? There's no changes on anything?
Except add 26,680 if they're gonna approve that.
Okay.
Do you want it as a part of the bills, or do you want it as a prepay to show up in next month's meeting? We could either amend the general abstract, adding the 26,680, or you can approve it as a prepay, and it'll show up in October's bills as a prepay.
It's a prepaid and show it up in the next.
And then it'll show up in the next,
Okay,
then the
so-
money will be
Yeah, and
transferred
I
by
think I
them.
have that in new business anyway, to make
Okay.
that a prepay, or
Okay.
maybe not.
All right, good.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
don't
so
know.
general is 3,535.30. TOV, 19. DB, or, is this DB or DA?
Yeah, DB, there is no DA.
Oh, there's 0 for DA? Oh, because that's winter.
Yeah, I think I do.
Okay, all right, DB is 3,033.29. South Nabron Lighting was 0 again.
Yep.
And FX is 2,040.43.
Up at the top of the resolution, just cross out audited by Roy, or you could keep Roy, and it's Roy and April.
It was Roy and April.
He signed off on them all, and she.
Yeah, and I'm gonna add April's name, so just add April. Okay. Any questions, John? Any
No.
discussion? Everybody's good?
I'm good.
Okay. All right.
Introduced by?
Wendy.
Second, I will second.
Well, actually, John made the motion. I wrote John already. Oh, that was the financial reports.
Me.
I'll introduce the resolution, Deb.
I'll
Okay.
second it.
April, sorry, I'm getting confused.
April, okay. Parks?
Yes.
Stockwell?
Yes.
Reifenberg?
Yes.
Christian?
Yes.
And absent. And this is 100%. I'm sorry, I took away John's all in favor, Wendy.
All in favor?
Aye.
Was I supposed to say that or you?
You.
Oh,
And then I have a roll
sorry,
call.
sorry, I wasn't listening, I was reading. Okay, so now, the balance sheets, I guess we approved all this, right?
Right.
Just an update on the revolving loan fund. I got an email from David Wells. He found 3 more people that are interested in getting on that board. And, we're having another meeting the 17th, I believe. So to go over stuff, we've got some copies of old things that we're looking about, So that, because we had a meeting on that, and that was pretty good. Next is the overtime policy. There was no old business, right, Brandon, new business? Yep. Okay, the overtime thing, like you heard David, it really only affects, because I talked to county about salary people, and it doesn't affect salary because we pay them enough in the salary. And the other salaries are, summer help. So it really only affects the police department for the time being. If we have 2 full-time clocks, it affects 2 police departments. But it doesn't affect Brandon, because I checked on that.
Because our union.
Because Brandon's not union,
Oh,
he's salaried, but he makes enough over the standard limit that we don't have to pay him
Okay.
overtime, according to Matt County.
What if a part-time employee works over 8 hours in one day?
I don't think we have anybody, part-timers, that work over 8 hours.
I see what she's saying.
There's always a chance if Marty is busy with her doing jury and she's only in that one day, if she puts 8 hours in that week.
Oh, yeah, Paul, because he's not in the union.
He might, that'd be really hard for him to do that.
That would be like a water leak or a main break, or snow plowing, yeah.
Yeah,
So I guess we might have some of that
Has that
overtime.
happened before for, other than, the police needing?
No.
Has it
Well,
happened
I
as an
think
emergency
we've-
that they've worked other?
Well, I think the problem was we've always made it any over 40 hours. But we made it over 40 hours of work hours. That's what our policy, in fact, I should have brought our policy out here, I don't have it. It was 40 hours of work. So if you had a PTO or, or a vacation day, in with that 40 hours of that week, like say you took off Wednesday, you had to go to the doctor's, you took the whole day off, or you were on vacation, and you worked overtime on Thursday, they wouldn't give you your overtime because you had a PTO time, which is kind of unfair.
That seems unfair.
Like she's had to sit here with that one guy she arrested and had to sit here.
But that is New York State labor law, that if you're on holiday or vacation, you don't get overtime.
I mean, you're choosing that. If you didn't choose it, I mean, I think it's different to me. I'm self-employed, so. I'm gonna-
She doesn't choose it. She had to wait because she
Well, I know
had
that part. I
arrested
understand
somebody
that
and
part. I
she,
understand that.
because of our new court,
But
we can't
because
have our
you took
judge
a-
come in and arraign them anymore. They gotta go over there. Like if you could have our judge, she could have came in, done it, going home. But now you can only do 8 AM or 8 PM. They do it twice.
Was that something just the county set up?
I don't know how that, I think so. It's countywide. That you take your police, that your criminals go over there to get
Right.
arraigned now.
They're trying
And
to
each judge-
mainstream district court so that there's just one court that everyone answers to.
And they
And-
revolve the judges, so like one time it
Oh,
might
I
be,
see. So
every
take
county, like every
Everybody takes a
town
turn.
judge takes a turn doing it. So that you're on the roster of getting switched. So you're not getting called at 3 o'clock in the morning if your police had an arrest and you're getting dragged in to do an arraignment. These are the times.
And
And
no,
this is the
no
judge.
one person, just as a policy as a whole. The only thing that I saw about this, since we've been talking about it for a while, and I did a little research too, is someone could work 3 10-hour days and then just take off the rest of the week, but not affect their PTO or their paycheck. Because you've got 2 hours, 6 hours that week of overtime. And now,
Well, that's why David mentioned to do it per shift. Like if we start doing 10-hour shifts,
right, but if
you
they're
don't get overtime
scheduled
until
for
after
8
the 10 hours.
and they work 10,
Then
and
they
they
would
did that
get,
for 3 days, that would be 6 hours overtime.
yeah, but they would, like he said, he wouldn't allow, like you'd have to call in, why are you asking for overtime?
Right.
You can't just get overtime, he'd put limitations to the overtime. Like you'd have to call your superior officer, that's what state troopers do, to get overtime. You have to get permission to get,
You're talking about a situation where to benefit the person who's doing who is stuck with doing their job,
right,
that it isn't something where they're gonna be able to create that situation every day, so it always happens.
Right,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not-
it's,
yeah,
it's
not
very
something
few
I'm
and far
talking
between.
Right.
The only thing I have, and it's only because I've been in management, and I've seen it happen, is people, and not necessarily ours, but if it affects more than one person, my question would be, is I work 9 hours today, and tomorrow I call in sick. And now I've got overtime, but I'm getting sick leave. I can understand the PTO if you've got that time off already scheduled off, that's not your fault that you had an emergency and you had to stay, but if I'm calling in sick for the rest of the week and I've got overtime, that doesn't seem to be.
Our PTO includes our
Right.
sick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
but
just-
then that's what I'm saying, and that's why I
maybe we
think
don't,
they've made it
like, do we not
40
approve
work
it?
hours.
Do we?
I mean, I hate for somebody to do.
I feel
overtime.
bad, 'cause
I would
would
be
hate-
angry if
I
had
would
to
be,
stay here
because
at
if I
night.
had to sit here till
Yeah.
8 PM and I got a little kid at home, because I gotta watch a prisoner, because they got no staff over there and they made this stuff, I wanna get paid for my 6 hours of sitting.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not salaried, like, getting paid that hourly rate, we've got to figure it out. I think we have to.
Unless we
Well-
don't pay them hourly and we make it salary and squash it. Salary you don't have to pay, it'll be enough that you don't have to pay, but then
Well,
you're not punching in and
probably
punching
talking
out.
about a situation that's gonna happen,
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe if that.
you
Right.
know.
I don't think it's that big of a deal.
So I say
Yeah.
anything past your scheduled shift is overtime.
Okay. And then, like, if he changes the shifts to 10-hour days, or
Then
12
that's your
hours,
scheduled
like,
shift.
one
Well,
police
that
changed,
goes-
so that goes to that
would be
shift.
After the 10
Shift.
hours.
Right, because I know Lou works 12-hour days.
But that's his
So you're gonna
scheduled
put that
shift.
for 40 hours. employee.
See, the county does, they do both. If you work over 8 hours in a day, they get it, and if they work, and if they worked over 40, they honor both. That's how the county does it.
Yeah, because how would it be any more fair if you've got a part-time employee that gets stuck with that same thing and they're an 8-hour shift employee and they get stuck having to wait for cap court? They're not gonna work over 40. But then you've got the same with highway. You've got a part-time highway guy that works
Our
an 8-hour
highway
shift
gets
and
it
gets.
per day. The highway already gets it.
I'm
If they
talking
work
about the
over
non-union guy. He works an
Oh,
8-hour day.
But
and
he's a salary, he
got
doesn't count, they're non-union. Oh,
No,
you're
we've
talking
got
about
another.
Paul. You're talking about
If
Paul.
he gets called back out for a water emergency to help, he's overtime for that amount of time
Okay.
because same thing, he worked his 8 hours.
Well, the thing of it is, if you need those people for those hours,
They should
say
get
like,
paid.
like with Paul, if you needed Paul to come and help,
They should get paid.
either what you need him for is worth it or don't call
Right,
your
exactly. If it's
decision.
important enough to,
it. I used to, where I worked, I got a lot of call-ins, mostly because we broke down and right now we want to get running because traffic's set.
Right.
And then, of course, Monday morning, I'd always get grilled like, you were calling in 3 times over the weekend. Why possibly could that happen? I don't make the phone calls.
Right.
I just answer the phone.
That's right.
Right,
And I came and
Right.
got your machine running for you that you thought was worth
right,
it.
right.
So same thing with here. If
If we,
I think it's worth it.
we have an
whether-
emergency and
whether
something
it's
we need to get
like
going.
Lisa or Paul or whoever,
like that one house, the thing, we had three, we're like, do we need all these people here?
Yeah, I know.
Remember, we were like freaking about it. Like, can't we like have two come in and then we call the rest in for the
We
backup?
need them.
Yeah, when you need them. You don't call them all in, you just call one in. There's one that you think can help you the most.
well, that's
That's leadership, that's
the
management.
point of being in charge. You've got to make that
You gotta
decision.
make these decisions.
Right.
Do I need one person? Do I need 3 people?
Right, when you have an emergency.
Yep.
So I really don't want to table this again because I felt
We
bad.
keep tabling it. So we
Yeah, it was
just try to
tabled
come up with
twice.
Something.
It's not gonna happen that often.
I agree. It's
I mean,
not.
maybe, I don't know, with Paul, it might happen.
Right.
4 or 5 times it could, at the most, I think.
But
I
they
don't
seem to know their schedule, like they asked us to come in at 3 and leave early last year. Remember, someone wanted to leave early, we gave them that option, so they weren't working overtime.
Right.
And then some of them didn't want to leave, they wanted to work their whole 8 hours. So, and we do allow for snow removal, we do, I think we put in
Yeah, there's overtime.
110 hours, I think, John, was that enough, 110?
That's right.
So,
That's the case.
you know, it works out. As far as I'm concerned, like the deal with what they want, if they don't want to work, you know, if everything's done and hey.
They can do like a work adjustment.
Right.
They
As far
can-
as I'm concerned, good, you know, you're a good
Yeah.
employee, go home,
Right,
not paying you anymore. You know, I mean, it's
it's,
their decision, but, you know, it's our benefit.
so how do we word it to put it into our personnel policy? Per shift,
Per scheduled shift.
per scheduled shift. You need to write
If they
that
have to
down.
work
Our
home.
scheduled shift is in the personnel policy already as 8 or 10 hours as approved by I believe it's more the town board than it
Board,
is
yeah.
each department head, because
Right.
you can start getting real crazy if somebody wants to, trim their budget and they can make a 12-hour shift. That wouldn't be fair on somebody, because now you've got to
No.
put in several breaks.
Board-
By
board
law, you've got to-
approve
Yeah, so per scheduled shift, which is normally 8 hours, that's what it is right now.
Right.
So per scheduled shift, anything after 8 hours will be considered, right?
If you do
Well,
anything after
anything-
8 hours, you've got people that might be doing 10. So
If
we have
anything
to change
beyond
this.
your scheduled shift.
schedule 8 or 10 hours, that's what our shifts are.
Right, so
Say If
anything,
you're working 14-hour days, one of those days you end up working over that day. you go.
Okay,
so per scheduled shift, 8 or 10 hours,
okay,
overtime to be granted.
okay.
supervision. Or-
Should we
That
say
department,
with
I'd say-
department head
I'd say
approval?
the department head approval.
Yeah, you should, yeah, that's what.
David
they
said
the
he
state-
will
state does
regulate,
that,
yeah,
and he would do
the
that.
state troopers do that.
And the same
Same
way
way with
Same with,
Like they would, like, hey,
they don't have to go with John. they
So,
don't-
yeah.
like if he has to call, Brandon wants to call Paula and we're gonna be working 9 hours today.
Yeah, so for a scheduled shift, whether 8, 10 hours, overtime will be granted with department head approval.
Okay, so we're gonna add that line to our personnel policy. Okay. Or did you write it
I
on?
wrote it all on my cheat sheet, I'll have to rewrite it for you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Because I won't remember the verbiage unless Debbie adds it. to
Listen, I can take a picture of it and send it to you.
Well, I mean, if that's what you're making the motion, then yeah, that's what's gonna be in the
And
minutes.
she's got it,
Okay.
so.
It's per scheduled shift, 8 or 10 hours overtime will be granted with department head approval.
Okay.
Now, this is part-time and full-time, are you doing seasonal?
There's no way you limit it. is there?
What?
You couldn't limit that.
Well, for police, like if, say there's a
I know, I
major
mean, that's
car.
what I mean, I don't think you can
Please.
limit how many in a year.
So are we adding
You
to
know.
that for full-time and part-time employees?
I don't think, I mean, the only one that we're talking about would be, I mean, you can say part-time, but I don't think the part-time only, like you said, an emergency would highway go over.
Right.
Because the highway department already gets it in the contract.
But we have a non-union that's part-time highway, we've also got
He's
part-time
the one I'm
officers.
talking about, he's the only one.
Right. we
And a
also have-
part-time officer, if there was a major car accident or a major event, they would be the only ones.
So they wouldn't be getting it anyhow unless there was something major going
Going
on.
on,
So,
right.
so we're
Yes.
gonna say
Well,
for
and
full-time
and
and
this-
part-time.
Approved by the supervisor, so.
So whether, yeah, he.
Yeah, he'll have to approve that, part-time, full-time.
As long as this doesn't back us up against a law.
For,
Or, well, it's gotta get approved by a supervisor. Okay, okay.
Like,
Yeah, because
they
I'm thinking there could be a lot
like,
of
they
different-
can't just say, hey, I had someone pulled over at 12:01 and I worked till 1 o'clock giving them tickets
Right.
to get an extra hour pay.
Depends on your supervisor.
Yeah.
You know, if their budget is looking
Or not.
good and Marty and Karen are working on a project and they want to take an entire day to do it, going through files, cleaning out the thing, and they go at it for 9, 10 hours, does she get 2 hours overtime?
What's her name's salary, so no.
Marty, no, I'm talking about Marty.
Yeah,
So
but the
then-
judge's salary, so that wouldn't happen, and
Nope.
Marty is,
Karen would have to approve it.
and
would
Karen,
have to
Marty's
approve
only
it.
allowed to work 12 hours a week. So she doesn't qualify, she's only budgeted for 12 hours, so she can't have it. That's all we budgeted her for, is 12 hours, she doesn't get overtime.
I'm just saying you have to look at all the different scenarios. If she didn't work 1 week because they didn't have court, which there was a month, there were 3 weeks they didn't have court. So if she made up for that by having her work 3 weeks in a row, 3 10-hour days to help her with the project, that's 3 days, 2 hours each of overtime. Not that it's gonna happen a lot,
I don't think it would ever happen, I don't
but
think.
you've got Millbrook,
Using the.
Millbrook is seasonal, so that doesn't count.
or do you word that? Because Millbrook's doing 10, 12, 14-hour days. So
With the
that's,
exception of seasonal employees.
Yeah.
So say full part-time employees with the exception of
Oh.
seasonal employees.
Right, because I really don't think the part-time is gonna work overtime.
No,
no, probably not.
Probably not, but at least it's there.
Well, it gets down, it goes back to whoever approves it.
Right, the
So
department
they
head.
have to check with
So-
whoever, so
Right.
So
Right.
the policy to whoever approves it is, don't approve it unless it's.
Don't- yeah,
emergency.
Unless it's an
Absolutely.
absolutely life or death
And
emergency.
if you want your people to get this benefit when they need it, they're
Then-
not going to get it just
don't
because.
abuse it, use it when you need
Yeah,
it.
we don't abuse it. So that's,
So are we writing
Yep, with-
full part-time employees with the exception of seasonal? Yes, no,
Seasonal staff.
seasonal staff?
Yeah, because they're paid out of different lines.
I mean, you know, you can work on any kind of scenario, but
Yeah, you could,
the bottom line is.
if it's that bad.
People-
I mean, I think we've had
in terms
2
of-
times that she's worked overtime and didn't get paid. That I can think of, that I know
Well, I think this will cover it, and I really don't see it being an issue.
If it is, then we address it.
Yeah,
of. Then we
Well, if all
amend
of a
it.
sudden we found out it was an issue, then we can.
then we can address
amend
why it's an
Yeah.
issue.
We can amend it, like it's being taken advantage of and we're taking it
That's
away.
it, yeah.
So who's making this motion for this thing that I just wrote out?
Yeah, we need a motion and a second.
I can make a motion.
April,
Yeah, I'll second.
Roy, And we're adding it to part-time and full-time. You're gonna give me a copy of that, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a picture of it.
Okay.
My chicken scratch.
The purchase policy, we did some, changes on it, because at the beginning, we should have done this a long time ago, but I apologize, I didn't have time. Made at all the department heads are their own purchase officer. That's what the county said they did. So every department can keep track of their budget and not go over budget. So they know what they're spending. So the gray that you can't see was gonna be all deleted, and it was going back to like our old policy, more simple. But the only thing that I wish I put in here is a date when they have to hand their vouchers in. Like the county cuts it off. You can't hand any more vouchers in.
We have it,
After
it's just
a-
not in our policy. It's the Wednesday before the
Before,
board meeting.
But we need to add that.
Just add it in there, so
Yes.
it's black and white.
We need to add it. And I know there's gonna be some exceptions that people forget or something came in late and we can do it, but I think we should have like a roundabout sometime so it helps with the office getting them all in the thing.
I mean, you were talking Tuesday. Wednesday would have to be the end of the exception because that's when we enter them, we print all the reports, we make the 5 copies and we build the board packets Thursday morning.
So Wednesday before,
Yes, because we had somebody bring in some
Board
on Thursday.
meeting.
We had to reprint all the reports. So
okay,
that starts
Wednesday
to get
before
real.
board meeting must hand all vouchers in. Okay. And then, so that would be the Wednesday of the first of the month, the first Wednesday of the month.
Yeah.
First,
Technically, but if it changes, you've gotta be careful.
right, because it might fall
Black and
into the
white,
second, okay.
whatever.
All right, and then you wanted to change, and Debbie said the same thing, the POs to give each department. You brought that up to me. To give each department head, just like the highway, John, they have so many POs. So they don't have to bother Debbie with a PO.
Okay.
Debbie, how many did you tell me? I said 10, but what did you say at the beginning of the year, Debbie?
I said I would like to give, I can do an Excel sheet because anybody who's not familiar with exactly what these POs are a promise to pay. That's what the board is saying with these POs. They are a promise to pay. So if somebody goes to Lowe's, gives them a PO, we have promised to pay them. So we have to keep track of them. They're not just a slip of paper.
And they're
Right.
numbered.
And they're numbered.
Right.
So I would have an Excel sheet and I would give each department head 30. And then when they purchase something, depending on where the limit is, if the limit is 100, which we'd like for it to be 2, let's say if the limit is 200, if they buy something over $200, they are not to turn it back into me without a department head signature
Right.
and their
Without
own
the-
signature and
Now,
the
they're the
invoice
department
statement.
head without a commissioner saying.
A commissioner, sorry.
Right,
Without a commissioner or liaison.
They have to get one of us to sign it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna put it in and I'm also not gonna track down each liaison to say, did you approve this $300 purchase? That's for them to do, and then I will enter it when it has the necessary signatures.
And this way we know that they're signing everything and they're
Mhm.
keeping track of what they're spending.
Absolutely.
The only thing that they wouldn't would be
NICEAG.
utilities and like AT&T, they would just, those 2 departments would just need to know every month, this is how much comes out
Right,
for your AT&T bill.
for your every year expenses. John, what do you think about the limit of 200?
It's, you know,
It used to be 100.
right.
Toner cartridges are
Cost
about
of things anymore, it's
150.
probably. you're
Yeah, I
probably
think.
right.
Or do you want to up it? I didn't know if we should do 300, I didn't know if we should do 250.
The one I just had to buy for Karen was 124.
I think we're right there. I mean,
200? How much?
I don't, yeah, because
Because each board member or commissioner is allowed 200 to 1,000.
oh, right.
So if they go over, they can call us to, bring me the PO and I'll sign it. So, and then I did change the water superintendent to 1,000, but I didn't know if we should up it. And what's his name? Did I print 1,000 or is that 10,000? I think it's 1,000, right?
Where
That's
from?
gotta be the highway.
What was highway? They were more
I
than
was
1,000.
5,000.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you reduced them.
we typed that in wrong. I think it was 10,000.
Was it then? That was 5,000.
Let me
No,
go
they
get,
were
let me go get the
Or
old
anything
one.
over,
I have the old one on the desk.
pretty sure. I think-
I thought Dan had up to
10,000
10,000.
bid. I don't
Yeah,
think he could
right,
spend
yeah,
10,000
yeah.
without,
That's what I mean, no, I
commissioner.
think we were at
I
5.
think it's 5.
Yeah.
Anything over that, they should be talking to.
Somebody.
They don't know that they're.
Well, because you're talking a pretty big item. I mean, it might be repairs on a vehicle or something, but on the other hand,
Yeah, because remember the 8,
He
he
just
had to
did
come
that.
to you for the 8,000 on a repair.
I mean,
Right, right. And he got that roller. That was 38, so you know. It's gotta be
Yeah, 5. I think it was 5, not 10 though. 10 is,
Yeah, no, 10.
10 you're at bid requirements.
It's 10.
Is it 10?
For him,
Well, it was,
Just to keep it under
9,999.
10, so you didn't have, so it was under 10 technically.
yeah.
And
because-
then, over 10, the formal sealed
Yeah,
bill
over
is
that, right,
used.
Yeah, over 10.
Yeah,
that's right.
An
Well,
invitation
where
to
did-
bid must
Where
be.
did John come in on highway then? Oh, I think you
Well, I
guys,
think-
you guys changed John to a higher.
Yeah, I
think
thought we
I
did
was
too.
1,000 and then I went to 5,000.
Well, this
That's
one
what-
was two, I should have brought them all. I
So
thought I
it can't
had
be
one
yours
that
was
was,
more than his.
is this one revised, the one,
Yeah,
that
you
was
think-
the one this year? I know I have one that we revised in
I think it'd
2022.
be higher than he was.
You think he'd be fine, he'd be the 999.
I think he was the 1,000 and you were up to 5 because the other board members were up to 1,000 for their departments.
Right. Yeah,
You were 5,000 for yours, he must have been 1,000.
1,000, yeah.
Yeah, so they just missed the part where the department heads under 2, between 1,000, the former requires the approval of a town board.
In 22, it was amended, exception highway superintendent has purchase authority to 1,000 prior to commissioner approval.
And
Why would-
commissioner can approve up to 5,000 for highway.
What is
Right.
1,000?
That's what you guys did, 1,000 for him,
Well, it
5,000
never
for
was, it
John.
was never, this was
Put
the
in there,
last,
Right.
I had
I
2020,
remember talking about that.
and what was the date of this one? These were both 2020, this one was 2022.
That's what should be is.
So it said under 100 department heads, between 100 and 999, the commissioner of the department. And then it says,
Down at the bottom.
except highway superintendent has purchase authority to 1,000 prior to commissioner's approval.
Right.
And then it says, between 1,000 and 999, informal written estimates of 3.
Right.
But I think I took that out, because I made that for, because the formal, the reason, like most of these purchase things are for, is for that you get bids. Like that, in the comptroller's thing, it's because of over the 20,000, that you spend,
Right.
10,000 over bidding. And then it says 10,000, but I thought the highway, I thought Dan was,
5,000,
I thought he was 10,000,
I thought it was 5.
but it's not in any of these old ones.
Right, so.
I'd have to look on mine, I
We
don't
talked
know
about
if
it.
you
I know
have
we talked
drafts or
about it.
not, but Dan might have
Highways,
been more, you guys might have reduced.
exception, highway superintendent has purchase authority to 1,000 prior to commissioner's approval, that's what.
And then
all
after it
this-
was supposed to say commissioner can approve up to 5,000 because you guys changed that.
But these are the only, I have 20s and 22s, and then the ones that.
So I
we
think
got.
I have an amended one that I gave to all
So-
the department heads.
So I don't have one of those, so maybe you can get us that one.
Yep.
So we can finish this.
Yep.
Because I think for him, where does it say that? Where the commissioner can approve up to 999, the last
But
sentence
the
should say,
highway
except for
superintendent-
highway.
He spends all kinds of money.
Really?
Like he spends over 1,000 weekly. So it can't be 1,000 for the highway superintendent.
No, because he's gonna,
There's no way the way things cost.
I'm telling you. I
And
think
you
it
don't
was-
answer your phone.
I did too.
You're
Just when you
lying.
call.
You're
Just when you
lying.
call.
I said, did you call John first? Well, he didn't answer, so I get the phone call all the time. Damn, I'm too short to keep my head on this.
He can get away with it with you, see, that's why he don't call me.
He don't get away with it with me. I always call you and say, did you
I know.
approve
Did you
this, or
this?
should I
And then-
approve
And then I
this?
call you, did you approve this?
No, I call you. Should we approve? So what are we gonna do? Do you wanna look to see if we have amended one? Or do you wanna table it?
No, crazy.
Let's get it done.
It's done.
It's getting to the end of the
He
year.
spends a lot of money, more time, so.
Yeah, he can't.
I think
I thought it was,
5,000
I thought it was
sounds
10,000 too. I really thought it was 10. And then anything over? So then you gotta be changed.
I'd have to be changed. If he's
Yeah, you can't do 9. You can't do 1,000 if he can go up to
fine,
5.
I'd have to be.
Dan didn't ask us. He just spent the money.
The money, I know. A lot of things he didn't ask.
Yeah, we're finding out. Ski shoots, all kinds. I want to tell you. She had a very well compliment. For the motorcycle one. They were on. They said it was
Yeah, we've gotten lots and lots of.
awesome. They loved it. They thought that it
It
was
was
done
organ-
professional.
It was organized and I have to say, he helped,
And they said they felt safe.
they did.
Because there was the one tweet where he went a different road than what they thought they were going. But other than that, they
Right.
loved it.
And it was nice, you know, we had 4 EMTs. We
Yeah.
had a
State trooper.
and then we had a truck with a trailer in case somebody went down to load their bike up, so we had.
Oh my God,
I
that was
mean,
awesome.
That's, when you do a bike ride, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
You protect everybody.
Yep.
And we raised a lot of money for this.
Well, you're gonna have to take over because I just hit my head on that.
Was that
I just-
What do you mean, nice?
They get a lot of people, they would get a lot
All
of
that
people.
one, they should have gotten it. No.
They should maybe bike
They do
ride
that
our
over,
old
they do
car.
that over to,
Let me write, it's Gilligan's.
yeah.
Yeah,
People do
let me
like
write
coming
that
in.
If you did a
Oh,
bike
God.
night, you'd get people up there. You'd get people.
The people
Well, I don't
that
even
probably
know
don't
what
even
that,
know about that.
I don't even know what that
What's
means,
going on
a
up
bike
there?
night.
They all get together,
Yeah,
they
that's all.
hang out, they look at each other's bike. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
a car
It's
show,
like a
you know,
car.
they bring
Okay.
their
You know,
cars.
maybe
and-
have coffee there for them or whatever.
Yeah,
and
okay.
drink.
You know, they all show off their little
Store.
bells and whistles and.
It's kind of like surges on a small scale.
Right.
I don't ride bikes.
I have
don't
not
know.
been there, we're going in 2026.
A car thing would be good too up there.
Yeah, a car,
All that kind of stuff.
yeah, an old car show or something.
You get people all ages. man.
That's
I will
That's a
tell you,
great idea.
I camped up there this weekend. It was awesome. Judy was great, very helpful, because we had my grandson's first birthday party there. And, she says, we had more campers this year that never heard of our place before
It's not
from
an
out of town.
executive or anything.
No, we're waiting for,
Now we're waiting.
I failed to tell you this earlier, wanted to let you guys know. The 15th of September is Sunday Fun Day, South Burlington Fire Department, we did it last year.
yes,
Community event, so we're gonna be there. Lisa and I are gonna be doing the event this year.
on Sunday.
Yeah.
Is that gonna be overtime? Wait a minute.
No.
No, there's no overtime.
Well-
And he's in the district.
Well, for me, it will never be overtime, because I'm.
Yeah,
Right, but I mean, will it be overtime for Lisa? Or are you gonna switch her hours, because we might have to just re-amend something now.
Well, no, because it'll still be, if she didn't, it's automatically overtime. The only thing you're voting on for that other thing is that day thing. If there was you're just getting rid of if she just worked overtime this week, over 40 hours, labor law says automatically she gets 40
It's
hours.
clear,
I'm just going per day instead of per week. So
but permission through you. What did you word it? How'd you word it? Department head.
Yeah.
Department head.
Department head has to approve it.
Yeah, that's exactly
prove
right.
it nothing. I told you
Her
before.
scheduled shift, 8 to 10 hours, 8.
No money. I don't get it, you don't get it.
Listen,
Listen, per scheduled shift, 8 or 10 hours, overtime to be granted with department head approval. Full and part-time employees, with the exception of our seasonal employees.
because they work over 8 already, and we can't afford to pay that. So,
Oh, because you did it for everyone.
well, we had to.
Right.
You can't
Yeah,
just
just-
single out. Let me know too, if you hear anything about the car seat checks.
I already, as soon as you left the room, I emailed her. So Sherry said, they got a big thing going on.
I'm just trying to get stuff more in the town and
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're surviving the sound of all pancake breakfast.
Well,
No,
was
but
right.
it looks like it's what she has.
They had
I
a
might
grand
think
count
of our
on this
recent
weekend.
edit.
21st
There's
of this
no
month is the national.
But I'm not seeing
That's
where,
Saturday. And they're already gonna use what they got left for that.
Alright.
She was, but,
next year, maybe we can try to do something out to get them there, that would be great.
well, next year by that time, I'll be a technician, so I don't have to
Pancakes.
bother with them. with all-
And we're
that's-
willing
It was
to buy
amazing.
car seats that as replacements, the fire department will do that. If we know ahead of time, we will buy them and have them.
Walmart has a very nice donation, so.
All right, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I just have the one at the bottom says 21422.
Oh, that's the same as mine.
Oh, so-
Okay, so we
yeah,
gotta
so-
change the whole thing. All right, so John. So, do we make, because like, between 199 the commissioners, and then we have the exception of highway superintendent. Should we make a highway superintendent line?
That has to be wrong because that gives him an extra $1.
Well, it's gonna give him more if we give, because Brandon can't have $1,000.
I'm saying something did get changed somewhere
Randy's
along the
gotta be
line
fine.
because that gives Brandon the $1 more.
Simple as that. Rate's gonna be fine,
All right, so,
right? Am I
so
right or wrong?
I think at least 5.
Well, then anything over 5,
Then you gotta be able to approve it.
up to which we have,
But-
to 9,999. Right?
No,
No,
you're
no.
allowed up to 1,000, so we need a special line in there that says,
For highway.
for commissioner of the department must approve, and then the last sentence should say, oh, exception of highway, prior to commission approval up to, how much?
That would be
I really thought
Up to-
Dan could spend up to
Well,
9,000.
9,999, because you got anything over that, you gotta go for bid, you get
9,000.
sealed bids,
999.
right?
I mean, that makes sense.
All right, say it again to me, because I was reading something.
999,
So he can go up to, no, Brandon could do 5,000, and then anything above 5,000, up to 909.
9,999.
99. Not-
Are we gonna
nothing.
add that .9? It has
Nothing
to
over-
be,
Oh, my goodness.
So the exception is highway superintendent has the authority to purchase $5,000.
Yes.
Okay,
Prior to commission approval.
prior,
Commissioner approval up to 9,999.
So you wouldn't put prior,
anything over.
Yeah,
Anything
prior to
over.
commission
anything
approval.
over 5,000.
And then
Prior
commissioner approval up to
Right, okay,
9,999.
right, 'cause it-
Yeah,
the
that
way it
makes
reads-
sense.
Less words.
yep, yep.
Right, just, right,
All right, so it's, exception, highway superintendent has purchase authority to up to $5,000.
yes.
Or 5,000, I don't have to say up to, right? It just says $5,000.
Well, it says up to.
Up to 5,000,
To
Prior to
5,000,
the commissioner approval.
period.
okay.
Commissioner approval up to 9,999 and
Now-
99 cents.
The way I read it, and maybe I'm doing it wrong and not thinking straight. If you're saying the highway superintendent has purchase authority up to 5,000 prior to commissioner approval, you're asking me to approve his 5,000
No, we're asking you to
After-
approve over.
afterwards, okay. Sorry.
Like say he
Not
has
thinking.
something for 6,300.
This one is saying prior to him needing your approval, he can
Okay.
spend that 5,000.
5,000, okay.
Commissioner approval
Up to
is up to,
Thank you, okay. I wouldn't-
Because anything over 10, he's got to get 3 written estimates.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
And it has to come
Alright,
to the
this-
board.
he's got to do a bid over 10.
No, I think bids are over 20.
No.
I think estimates are 10. You have to get
No,
3
you have
written
to get-
estimates.
No, an invitation.
You have to get a
bid
formal
is-
sealed bid for 10,000 unless you're buying off New York State bid.
Right, if he's buying off New York State, but then that's all different.
Anything in the town has to get a bid for
That's what
over
your next-
$10,000.
Over 10,000, that's what your next thing says, field bid. Major purchase.
I thought that was 20, and I thought 10 was just 3 estimates, and anything over 20,000 was bid.
That's where it reads in here.
If you
I
look
gotta
in
look
the,
at the comptroller's book, okay. Okay, well, we'll leave it like that, but that. Now, we gotta do something with water too, because water, he spends 15. Like, what was that thing?
well, he got commissioner approval for the skid.
Yeah,
3,000.
what did I put on the new one? I put something exception for the water guy. I put 1,000, but, I mean, how much does the chemical usually cost?
That's gonna be a little bit less. I mean, I think you'd probably be pretty safe saying 1,000 for the water superintendent prior to commissioner approval and up to 5,000 for the commissioner to approve.
Okay, so it'll be exception for water.
Which is already there, water superintendent up to 1,000 prior to commissioner approval. Commissioner approval up to 5,000.
Yeah, just same kind of
Same thing, right?
wording, just changing them.
Just their stuff that costs a little less than highways.
Yeah, actually, I would hope so.
Yeah, there isn't like every day you're going to be ordering things like that.
No.
And then,
Yeah, either. I mean, they're, you know,
so now are we leaving the water commissioner to approve up to 900 and 999 too, or just the 5,000? Okay.
I mean, if it's a true emergency, something bad's happening, I'm sure we're all gonna be.
All right, and then the we're not doing the POs till January though, right?
Starting 2025. We've
Oh,
definitely
I would
time to
love
get
to
that.
start that sooner because I'm having some real issue with people are buying stuff. I don't know who's buying what. I have empty purchase orders. They're calling me left and right for numbers. And then I'm not getting paperwork to attach to them, so they sit in the folder. I would like for them to be
Can you get that
responsible.
spreadsheet that you wanna
Yeah.
do done? I mean, if she can do the spreadsheet.
Well, I wouldn't give
I've
them
already
30.
given
I wouldn't
one
give
to
them-
Connie.
I
When I
would
did,
give them 30 right now.
probably not for the end of the year. Could probably
Okay.
just start out with what, 10 or 15?
Yeah, okay.
10?
Absolutely.
Okay, so start now.
So if
Last
you're-
week I gave Connie one, I wrote the number down, I started the spreadsheet, and then she put it on Wendy's desk because it was over 100. Wendy signed it, and then we entered it in.
And I put it. in
Actually, we
balance.
will be entering it, it was after the cutoff.
Sounds like a plan then.
Okay, all right, so Deb, will you put these new ones in? Because I won't have time, I got a wedding this week.
In this purchase,
Yeah, to print the new one, because I
Thank you.
won't have time, thing. Because, did I email this one to you? How did I change this?
I'm just gonna say each department head will be given POs.
Because
not gonna
I
put a number.
changed, I took out all that gray area on the one I made. I made it like our old original one.
So I would just,
You know where the gray didn't show up?
yeah, it's
I
gray
don't
on
know
mine.
where it is on my desktop. I'll have to forward it to you.
All I have to do is on the last one that was amended, is just see where this gray is and amend it and
Okay,
type a few
okay,
things in.
okay. All right, great.
I don't have to recreate the wheel, it's pretty much already there.
Well,
I just have
for
to type.
me,
Oh.
it's very hard to type. I was here till 1 o'clock the other morning. When the police officer punched out, I was like, oh God, should I be in here by myself this late? I was a little nervous walking outside. All right, so let's make a motion. I need a motion to amend the purchase policy and procedures.
I make a motion.
April, second.
Second.
John, all in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. All right, don't have to table that anymore.
My goodness.
Okay, next, what's next?
April, the other table, speaking of tabled,
Thanks, Gail.
was the logo.
Yeah, is that on there?
No,
Oh.
because I had already typed this up when you and I spoke. I'll put that last.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The logo we talked about adding to the.
Oh, yeah, that was tabled. Remember we were gonna send something to the school to see if they'd make a town emblem logo for us?
Yep.
So can we do that and how do we
Yeah.
go about it?
I was thinking, I mean, I think it's still a wonderful idea. I mean, what a possible thing for a kid to do. But we needed to figure out some guidelines, at least from us. Like, it has to incorporate the town. They can't just do one portion, it has to incorporate the town. That's what, in order to submit it.
Okay.
And I think we should have them submitted by a certain date, and then.
What did we say to do an application? We'd have an application with guidelines
Yeah, simple guidelines, like it has to incorporate this and.
with a return date and high school.
Yeah, I was looking at the dates. So when do we wanna, I gotta find out who to reach to the school too, I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't know who you would you reach to the art class, you think? Maybe Mrs., what is her name?
I
Trista.
can reach to her, but she's in elementary,
Oh, she's on, I don't know who the high school
but I can
is.
reach to Tresta and she could at least guide me into the
Okay.
next direction.
Okay,
And find out, I guess we can find out some guidelines from them and what they would be willing to do,
okay.
you know.
See if they would type up
If-
some guidelines.
If they're willing to like advertise this at the
Okay.
school and allow the kids to have the opportunity to do it at school.
Okay.
And then,
See if they, because it might have to go through the school board too.
right.
So maybe reach out to her. see if
Before we
they-
actually do, but
Do
I
it,
wanted
but
us some
let-
guidelines, what are we
Okay.
expecting from them?
Yeah,
And, are we going to give them an award? Do we do a certificate, maybe a gift card to Amazon to the winner? That,
I like that.
We just had a local kid here whose picture was in the paper. He did a flag, David Smith's son.
Yep.
He designed a flag for, I can't think of where it was now. But we could always get like the Evening Sun, we can present it to them
I thought
at the
during-
board meeting.
yeah, that would be
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay.
And have them snap a picture of,
What a legacy for somebody.
as long as something came in that was usable.
Right,
We're hoping.
there's some
There's
pretty
some
good
talented
artist kids, yeah.
That's why it really needs to be geared toward the high school.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, high school,
It's-
okay. Okay. So you're gonna write some guidelines down and get a hold of Trista?
Yeah, and actually Debbie had a great idea, so if she didn't mind working with me, we'll kind of come up to
Yeah,
with
I
some
love it.
guidelines and an application. And
Okay.
one of us,
Yeah.
both of us will reach out to the school and we'll work on it together and then bring it back. And
I love it.
what a great way to get
I
kids
need to
involved.
get I got a notebook out of, I'm gonna write stuff that we table so we can
I
remember to
usually
bring
always try
back.
to send our table over to old business, but sometimes after 4 meetings, it drops off old
Yeah, it
business
gets
too.
lost, and I feel
I
bad
will
because that's
get
kind of
with you
my
and we will
fault.
work
Yeah.
this out. I think that's great. Now we'll figure out who to talk to the school and I think it's getting kids involved in the town.
Town,
You
yeah,
know,
Yeah.
Ideas too.
yeah. I don't know if
Okay.
you heard Hochul's new law
Next.
that they're trying to get a non-voting student to be on every school board. So that they get them into politics and get them to show how a board's run and stuff. So hopefully our
I did
school
read something
implements.
quick about that, a headline.
Yeah, hopefully our school does it. Next is the, local law, we gotta have a public hearing on next board meeting, which remember will be on a Tuesday, right, Deb?
October's is, yes, because the Monday is a holiday, so it'll be the 15th. So we, 10, 15.
It'll be the
Yeah,
8th.
you're right.
Columbus.
Yeah. So,
I thought the holiday was the 7th.
yeah, the holiday is.
yeah, so we can
We're
have
all
it
right.
on the 14th.
How, Columbus Day we have never.
Why
had
is
it.
this blue? Why is this blue?
What does it say?
Oh, term start date.
Oh,
Columbus
so
Day is the
it's the
14th.
14th.
I was gonna
I
say,
can't
I thought it would be
see,
never.
I can't see that far away. I thought that was
I
a
just-
holiday.
I can see
I
it.
thought the blue meant holiday too. I'm like, oh.
So
Okay.
10, 15, 24, so someone has to make a motion to have a public hearing for the local law on the tax card.
I'll move it.
John, second? I'll second. Can I second? Okay, and we're gonna do it at 5:45? And this is just a precaution. But after you say.
We'll see.
Yeah,
Take
we'll
care
see.
of it.
Right now, the sample I gave you is, but I have a lot of questions that you need to, there's gonna be changes. Okay,
And you have a copy of the local law?
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
John, you're getting ready for this job, John.
Yeah, no more than that.
You're getting ready. Okay, resolution 45. I'm authorizing the town board to amend the budget lines. The supervisor contractual went over 252.80. That was for Mikey G when I went over and met with him at Jones' office. Central print mail is because postage has gone up again. The garage, I think it was utilities, but I don't know why, but that was over. I just went down the budget line. The garage, remember, it used to be in DA or DB, and it had to be in DA, general, and we only budgeted 10,000, and that's not gonna be enough. So we're probably gonna go over that the next two times.
8,650 is utilities only on average for the year.
And we budgeted only 10,000 for the year. So, all right. Do you want me to read the whole thing, or do you understand it? Okay, and I'm taking all this money, which is the total of 1,824.62 out of the contingency line. Okay, which we have money in.
Okay.
All right, introduced by Wendy. Second,
Second.
Roy.
Still have to do all in favor and then I roll call.
Oh, I thought I did that after the roll call. All in favor?
Yep.
Aye.
Parks?
Yep.
Raifenberg?
Yes.
Christian?
Yes.
Mills Reed is absent. Stockwell?
Yes.
Okay, resolution 46. There's so many because I told you I'm gonna do it quarterly now. I just was cleaning up the lines. But 46 is the one that I forgot because of the bill. I got the bill in late. I thought it was a scam. This is for the live scan. This is the bill for the live scan was $26,680, which will be total full reimbursement by a grant. So I'm asking the board, we're gonna take the money out of the police reserves to put in the line of equipment police so that we can pay the bill in full. And then when we get the grant money, we will replenish the reserve line. Okay? Introduced by Wendy. Second? I second it. April, all in favor?
Yep.
Aye. Aye.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, I fell asleep over here.
Sorry.
Christian?
Yes.
Stockwell?
Yes.
Raifenberg?
Yes. Okay, resolution 47 is authorizing the town of New Berlin to amend the budget, whereas the town of New Berlin has determined that the DB machine equipment line, I'm not gonna say the numbers then, was over budgeted by $3,847.82. This line was under budgeted. We had only budgeted 4,000 in this line. Why? I have no idea. And so I am taking it because we have, in our general repair line, we had 70-some thousand. So I'm taking the money out of that line and moving it to our machine equipment line in DB. Okay? Introduced by Wendy, second. Roy, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Raifenberg?
Yes.
Stockwell?
Yes.
Christian? Yes. Parks?
Yes.
Okay, resolution 49.
Oh, 40.
48.
Oh, sorry, mine are
You did not have it on.
out of order. Okay, resolution 48, authorizing the town of Berlin to amend the budget, whereas the town of Berlin has determined that the FX power source pump was over budget by $6,357.
Wait,
No, that's wrong. That's wrong. It's 6,000.
Yeah, it was,
It's 6,357.45.
wow.
Sorry, guys, typo. That needs to be corrected. Okay, I'm typing them, I'm learning.
Just dragging and dropping too.
And I'm dragging and dropping. This amount was for upgrading the water plant. This was for our new skid was 5,000 and then the other parts that we got. So, and we are going to take this money from our ARPA funds and move it to our power source pump line. All in favor, or introduced by Wendy, seconded by
Second.
John, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Christian?
Yes.
Stockwell?
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Reichenberg.
Yes. Okay, resolution 49 is authorizing the town of New Berlin to amend the budget, whereas the town of New Berlin has determined that the town clerk contractual was over budget by $5,255. It was because of the purchase of the new code books. So we are resolving that the town of New Berlin amend that budget for the town clerk and take the money out of our general reserves because we didn't budget for our new code books. Okay, introduced by Wendy. Second. Second. All in favor?
Reichenberg,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Stockwell,
Yes.
Christian.
Yes.
Okay. Next, the budget workshop meeting. I want to do it on September 16th. If that's good for that's a Monday night. And-
Next week, right? Yeah.
Yep, at 6 PM.
So it is, I already talked to Wendy, it is not good for me, I will not be here. It'll be my second meeting in 11 years.
Can your deputy make it?
No, I am going to have April use my recorder and leave it in my mailbox for Tuesday morning
So you can record it?
with my,
Well, I just,
Voice recording?
I thought before we could record, we had to have somebody here taking notes.
it can be recorded by April. It's a workshop and there are no motions made,
Okay.
but any notes I can write down or somebody on the board can record it and act as secretary and take the minutes that night.
Okay.
So we can take notes or.
Yeah.
So I don't mind doing the minutes.
Yeah.
I would just need somebody
I
to.
just want to make
record.
sure, is the
What time you say
16th?
6?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good
is-
for me.
Is that good for everybody? Because
No, that's-
if we
yeah.
gotta make changes, we gotta get them in that night. Then on the September 23rd, we'll do the final tentative. Because I gotta hand it in to Deb by the 30th.
I'm good with
So
that.
if we have any changes the following week, the 23rd will be our second workshop.
Yeah.
And then that will be, you know, and we might be able to do it in one.
Maybe.
The other thing is, if anybody wants to move it to a different day that week, I can be here to take the minutes. I just will not be here Friday and Monday.
I can't, because the 17th, we're having the, committee meeting. On Wednesday, I got county. And then on the 19th, I guess I gotta go meet with this other person.
All right, just to let it be
So
known,
I have a
I'm
meeting-
available 4 out of 5 days. I'm just not available that one.
So I just, Mondays, it seems like we always did the workshops like the same as our committee meetings.
Okay.
So unless you all want to do it earlier in the day. But you're working, so you can't.
I
It's like
can-
sometimes,
I
what's his
can
name?
adjust if you
Did
need
it
to.
at 3:00. I mean, if you
If you
want.
guys want to do earlier, I can adjust.
Oh, but Sarah works till.
Oh, yeah.
Shoot, I forgot about Sarah. That's what, because we used to do them at 3, but Sarah wouldn't be able to do. She doesn't get out of work till 6. So, and sometimes not that time. Okay, so you're gonna advertise a workshop for the 16th.
Yeah, how long is that usually?
Depends on how many changes we gotta
I'm gonna
make.
bring a crock pot for dinner. Don't eat dinner, I'll bring a crock pot for dinner.
I like it.
No, this is
but
not,
I'm bringing
this
dinner.
is just our workshop.
It-
But it's
a
still,
public-
it's still open to the public. The public can come to
I
it.
can have dinner too, but I'm bringing a crock pot.
So, do we should we advertise them both, but we may not need the 23rd? I don't know.
Yeah, if you advertise both and we're not here for the 23rd.
Well, we'll have to vote that night if we're gonna have on the 23rd, and then she'll put it in the paper on Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay? All right, no correspondence. Any other related town business? I don't think I have any. There was something I was gonna say, but I can't remember what it was. All right, any executive? No? Motion to adjourn the meeting.
Whatever, we'll find that
Roy,
one.
John. Roy and John. Okay, does anybody want to look at it before you go home and ask me any questions so you can study it? No.
Study it before you ask what. Okay.
Well, because like maybe if you looked at it tonight, we could do it all next week and I can change the numbers. but that's up to you. I mean, did everybody get one?
Yeah.
The only things that I will tell you, I have notes on everything I did, and we can change it, because I didn't, and I did put lines in it. Sarah's making a nicer one. I did put some spaces in. I learned how to do that.
When we gonna get that next month?
It just depends on our dad. But did you see how I spaced these? John, do you know how hard it was to learn how to put a space in?
No, I don't.
It was,
I have a clue.
it was like, I said, Sarah, just teach me how to put a space in. And it was quite easy after I was
Yeah, I'm
taught.
gonna sit down and go through it.
Yeah, but I will tell you, I had to redo all of the police over, and I have notes. I had done it because we did have a police officer that wanted to come full-time. And I had worked the budget, the hours, everything, and they came to me and David, and they can't do it. They can't come full-time right now. There's some family problems, and so I went back and redid the budget to put it there. The only people that got over 2% was the justice and her department, because Marty, she was really worried about Marty. She doesn't work the 12 hours that we allocated because she's so experienced. She does it like in 8 or less. So she wanted her to get an increase, and for herself. And the only ones that got higher than 2% was the justice and the police, which I told everybody that the police was getting. They asked for 4%. After I gave everybody what they want, I did the budget, I was over 6%. So then I went back and worked the numbers, and I did the part-time I gave 3%, and the full-time I gave 4%. And David, we're making his salary, there'll be no overtime or anything, he gets a straight 35, period. No more punching the clock, he gets salary. There's, 20 hours in office, unless he gets approved to work from home through his commissioner. I left all the police stuff the same, except the gas. I upped 5,000 because the price of gas fluctuates, but I can lower that if we have to. The only other thing I didn't do, because I didn't know how you wanted to all go about it, is on the town clerk deputy. I've got 4 different scenarios, or 4 different ways. Because for the town clerk, because when is her 90 days gonna be up, Deb?
I have to, look at that.
Because that's gonna go up to 16. So if we give her I made this straight, what I put in the budget right now is straight 16 hours, $16 an hour. That's what I put in. But if we give the 16 hours a week, and I wanted to do 20 hours for 5 weeks in the month of January because it's tax season. So I did 16 hours for 47 weeks, 20 hours for 5 weeks. That came to $1,360,632.
Well, she goes to 16 after the 90 days, and then in our meeting, we discussed that she would get the raise at the beginning of the year.
Well, then I had some board members say that they think she should work a year before she gets a 2% raise. So we didn't vote on that, we just voted to up it to 16, and I said, we'll look at the budget. So, but I did both, and then I did the 16 with the 2% raise, that would be $1,355.78. Then I did it the 16 hours with the raise for the 5 weeks in January and the 47 weeks straight, and that would have been $13,905. So I have, depending on where the rest of the numbers, I have 4 different scenarios we can put in for the deputy clerk, because I worked those numbers out.
I don't have that.
You don't have, here. Oh,
I think it all
I might have
has.
took yours. Because here's mine.
That's all right.
So that's, but I have it all on paper so we can change it. So like when you crunch now, I just want to tell you the things I want you to look at because I struggled with, okay? But I wrote them down so we can put the numbers in. Now, the assessor came to me, I don't know if I gave you all a copy of that, it's in my budget thing of what she's asking for. She's asking for a trainer to come in. She has a person picked out, we're gonna have to interview her to see if she'll even want the job. She works at the county already, she's interested in becoming an assessor. She wants to bring her in to train her, she'll have to get certified, and she asked for $10,000 salary for this person. I talked to Roy about it. I don't feel like we can give the assessor 10,000, even if she knows, like she knows, she works in the county, so she knows tax maps. I can't remember what department. I have to go get this stuff. So, and I know we were paying her by the parcel, which we probably finished paying her and giving her 2% raise. So I don't know how to work it. I thought we should do it an hourly rate while she's training for 4 hours a week, because that's what the assessor comes in. So she would be coming in the 4 hours that the assessor's here to get trained.
I don't have a problem paying somebody whatever we do pay them, as long as they're gonna work for us when they get done.
Well, we're gonna have to make a contract.
Well, I'm just saying,
That's what otherwise she would have to.
Train them to just have them leave us and go somewhere else.
Right, so we probably have to make a contract. This is what, I don't even know if she do it. I averaged $17 for 4 weeks an hour, and it came to the 3,536. She might tell us to shove it. Like Penny, I don't know, she asked me for 10 grand. I'm like, I can't give you 10 grand. You know, for someone that's not even certified to be an assessor yet.
what was she getting at the county?
I didn't look because I don't know what department. I gotta look that up. I didn't have time.
That's very helpful.
I need to find out what she gets per hour.
Well, the thing of it is that she's a clerk for the county.
She works in, I think, where the tax maps and that. I gotta go get it. I have it in my office and I can tell you. And I gave the assessor 2%. But like Penny's thinking a year to a year and a half, she's gonna be gone.
Well,
And that's how she told me she started.
Well, that's why if somebody's interested in this, stay with us.
Well,
It'll be worth it.
I would agree, okay, we'll train you and pay you and all that stuff.
Well, she's staying.
So do we bite the bullet and pay her the 10,000 and have a contract or?
Appointment anyway.
Yep.
Well, she has
6 years.
she should agree then that she will work for us for 6 years.
Right.
Yeah, like,
After she becomes
Certified or whatever, or certification. So would we pay for a certification? Is that, are they going with that?
they didn't really, she didn't say here.
Well, even if you want to pay her less, if you could pay for the certification, that's what it costs, I guess.
Well, the thing of it is, it opens the door for her, so just like Penny, she could assessor for 2 or 3 towns.
Right.
Yeah,
Once she
and
gets
that's what Penny, I got 2 copies if you guys want to share that one.
Yeah.
This is what she asked for.
Yeah.
She asked for 3%, she didn't get, I only did 2. And, she asked for 10,000 for her assistant assessor in training. So I don't know how y'all, do we do it and bite the bullet? This is her resume, her name
Well,
is.
it seems like a lot, I don't remember.
I don't know, I gotta talk to some other people, because, you know, there's gonna be a lot of assessors leaving. They're gonna be retiring. We're gonna have a hard time getting. And this is what she said, she wants to continue to work for the county, so she would be doing assessor hours for us on Saturday or at night. She'd be working. And Penny said she would change her time, day to train her.
Yeah, I don't see that's in cash.
So this is what I want you guys to think about to come back with me.
The thing of it is, like I'm saying, we're going to train her. We need a commitment that
Yeah, we're gonna have to get
Gotta have something, and then
a contract. So that's stuff I want you to think about, because then we're gonna have to bring her in, interview her and all that. So those lines I wanted you to look at. So I talked about that one. And then come back with ideas for me.
So the only other food for thought, really quick, I did not fill out a wish list. I was bobbed, having been without a deputy for a while, and we're still playing catch up. But as I just glance over it,
Oh,
everyone else's departments and raises are their own business. However, we have a campground that's being increased payroll by 12,000, police by 8,000, and the front office that runs a lot of this building by 900. Inflation is not going down. And I think if some people are being
Well, the
given,
reason I did that is because every department here has got significant raises, except police and justice. Justice for 2 years never got a raise, because Karen was telling me that. But like when
Justice
Biden-
didn't get a raise because there was a new judge, and you guys wanted them the same to work the year before they got a raise. You
Right,
understand?
and he was out sick for a lot of the time,
So
so
that's-
that line never got increased for 2
So
years.
that's why that has nothing to do with our current people in office.
Right, but that's why everybody, I mean, I would have gone straight 2% across the board, but I didn't because we all got a raise last year, the $500. You a couple of years ago got the $6,000.
And then I got a 4,000 decrease, so let's not forget, my 6,000 doesn't mean much when I got chopped the
That
following
was
year by
water
4,000.
though, that had nothing to do with town clerk's
But
salary.
it's still my overall pay, I'm just saying,
It's
overall
just
pay.
water. But that's why, because we can't do it. I mean,
But I don't
I
think
was
we should
like,
pick and choose people to give
should we
higher raises than others.
just take? That's why I did it, because I can prove that we gave those departments big raises. The highways gets a big raise. I mean, the superintendent, I only gave him 2% raise.
We have people that salary or not, they got a 3% raise every year and they're receiving a 6%. There was reasons you didn't increase PD. That was because they received 3 significant raises in 1 year. You guys said you weren't going to do a raise because you were trying to get that to where it was comparable. Now we have a bunch of new people that came in. So yes, they deserve raises, but they probably deserve the same as if you're saying we deserve 2%.
What new people in the police?
Or 2 part-timers.
They've been here.
One's been here 2 years, one's been here a year. The one that's been here 2 years should have gotten a raise, but because you guys raised them
On the
3
police, I
times in
did.
1 year, you didn't.
I haven't raised them 3 times in 1 year.
In order to make the part-time comparable to advertise and get people, you guys bumped them 3 times in 1 year as a board, and then stated that you weren't going to do the raise the following year because you
I don't
increased
think
a
we did
dollar,
that.
a dollar and change. It was 3 in
We
1
did
year.
a
to
night
make it
we did
comparable.
a night differential.
That was the following year. You did a night differential.
Because you've checked all the wages and now we're comparable.
Well, not here, but yeah, comparable
Well, with
around the
other
areas,
towns.
but not like.
So,
what
and
they
I
did
only
that
gave
year.
part-time. They asked for 4. I only gave the full-time 4% and I gave the, part-time only 3%.
And the OIC 6%.
The OSA was 5 something, but now we're done. But he will never get overtime again. He was getting overtime before. He can never get overtime at a salary level. Because he can't make a dime over 35,000. That's why we did it. It's just easier.
Right, because he's got an income elsewhere. That's why he can't make a dime over. I
Because
don't
he's
have
retired.
income elsewhere.
So, and,
So I'm just asking.
and I'll tell you, the Millbrook was my hardest thing, and I've got so many different scenarios, and I need to change Millbrook because after talking to Judy this weekend, because we got to figure out how we are going to do Millbrook, what we all want, and I figured we want 8 hours at least somebody up there today. I mean, people are loving Millbrook. And I budgeted, so that's 56 hours a week that we need somebody at Millbrook to have the store open 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's 56 hours a week. I figured if we do the hourly rate, we pay one person 40 hours a week, flat 40 hours a week. And then we have another person for 16. But now that I'm rethinking this, because Judy said in the summer, on those 2 busy months, when that was hot this summer, they could have used 2 people on duty because the beach had a ton of people on it and you couldn't go and do other stuff. So I got to recalculate that. Should I do more than 56 hours so we can have a backup for that? And what I did with that is I was basing it on 56 hours, one person at 40 hours, because I figured Connie would be the full-time person hourly rate custodian, 8 hours a day. And then I figured her $4,000 for the after hours, the weekend calls for the manager. Okay? And then I figured her 26 weeks of off duty that we're getting, closing the park, getting ready, doing 3 hours a day, 5 days a week for reservations during the winter hours. That came to $6,965. That's 15 hours a week for 26 weeks. That's winter hours. That's seasonal winter hours, off-season hours. Then I did hours. But now I think I need to change them back to the 32 hours, the 2 people. So I don't know. Millbrook was my hardest. Millbrook and the police were my hardest ones to figure out. That's why I want you guys to look at them to get some ideas. Because you got to remember, she's going to be working, taking calls off duty in the winter. She's got to start getting the plans. We want to have crafts up there. Like you said, these new things, a bike. We got to get get them all scheduled during the winter so we can post them, get them and advertise some more. And some of the stories that I've heard of the cleaning up there this year is, I don't know if I would do it. But, and then I did up the manager because you're on call. You know, she would be on call for that second person, so.
How many weeks out of the year is the 40 hours a week?
I did it for 26. That would be Connie. She would do the 2 weeks prior, getting it up, getting it open, being up there, making sure everything is ready. She would be the 40-hour week person. And that came to $18,575. That's based on a 2% raise of what she was making. So it'd been $17.86 an hour and it came to $18,657. Then her manager position would be $4,000. That's her manager, off hours, after hours, nights, weekends, all that. And then her $17.86 times 15 hours for the winter months would be $6,965. And plus, because she's like, I'm taking a $3,000 cut. I was like, I can't do anything about it. I said, but you're also getting a campsite that's worth $6,000 some dollars. I said, you're also getting Social Security retirement. I'm paying $2,260. You're also getting $3,300 put in your retirement that I'm doing. So it adds up. You're not really losing because you're still getting the average of 32 hours a week. So you don't see it in your paycheck. And she would still be permanent part-time, so she would get her permanent part-time days off because it would average, Joan she'd have to keep the calendar and she would average it for the year for the 32 hours. That's how I figured it. But after talking to what's her name, Judy this week, maybe I shouldn't do the 40 hours and do 30. I'm not sure about that. Or do I schedule another person? Or have some backup hours somewhere for somebody. I don't know. Millbrook was my hardest thing because I did take the deputy or the clerk to supervisor out of the budget. Because she goes, why aren't you just keeping it the way it is? And I said, because we need you more at Millbrook. Millbrook is where you're working, and we need it at Millbrook. And it seems to be where people are liking Millbrook. And
it's definitely extremely successful. It's a great place, but I think the town really needs to think of where they're putting their priorities in.
So I want to tell you,
the campground is worth more than what this office does for this town and the constituents, and
they got a 2% just like everybody else. And I wasn't going to give Brian the 2%, but I did give it because we didn't give it last year. But you'll see on the Millbrook budget.
The town's getting one less day open.
No, actually, John, they're not.
Yes, they are. Yeah, you're
All right, we're not going to go there. Just let me finish so y'all can look at the budget, okay?
And Millbrook just got 50 more hours and we took it all from the front office.
So look.
So really, when push comes to shove.
Well, and you have a lot less work because we took it out of the office.
No, Millbrook was never a part of that front office. It was not supposed to be. It only became when I was helping the town.
All right,
Before that, it was not the office.
If you look at the budget at the, you'll notice on the youth program manager, PS manager, this is how I got creative. That's on the second page, John, where I put the 6,965.
Yep,
that's the winter hours. I put for manager. If you flip over and go to town outside of village, I put a new line. I don't have the numbers in yet, but I put recreation park PS and I put recreation contractual. I can take sales tax dollars, so this helps everybody. It's not just our taxpayers paying for it. It's everybody that buys stuff in our town that we get in Shenango County that come to our park. And the comptroller, our audit guy, told me I should take all of our youth and put it in there. But then I heard somebody got dinged on it. So I put the $4,000 wage here, and I put $3,000 in contractual, so we can buy some handicap picnic tables. We can put some more. You know, we spend a lot of money. We spent $57,000 at Millbrook last year. A lot of it was infrastructure, don't get me wrong. And we're going to be over budget this year, what we bring in. But I think down the road with these changes, and if we put more electric sites in that store, I'm giving that store a 5-year plan. I think this will sustain itself. It's not yet, and I think it's gonna. It's coming, but we're not there yet. So I did do some creative things. There is a number. It's on mine and Sarah's thing, but I don't have that, so I didn't put the number. I just put zeros in there. But we can take taxpayer dollars and put in there. And we do not budget all of our tax dollars in our budget. We pay for our ambulance and we pay for our highway. We put a lot into our highway fund from our tax funds. And I think we can put a little bit into our park and it'll benefit everybody. I didn't put a lot. What I put 16.5, I think, in. And you'll also see on TOV, I put the auditor in there, Mike, our auditor. And then the Pro Tech Service, Joan's line is going to go over budget this year. I've used her a lot more than Bob ever used her, so we had to pay her more. But we also bought her a new computer, and she thinks QuickBooks is going to be about $2,500, and that came out of her line. So we're going to put a contractual line in for her in that. And I did up planning because they spend a lot because of the advertising of the public hearings. I put 400. I don't know if that's enough. We might want to up that. These were the ones I struggled with, so I want you to all to look at. Highway, I only upped 5,000. And you'll see on highway, John, on the machine equipment line, and that's on DB, the machine equipment line and general repairs. We budgeted $77,600 in general repairs. We spent 20 something out of that this year. On machine contractual, we budgeted 4. We've spent like 50 something. So no, that's not what we spent. This is what I'm budgeting for next year. But you'll see I dropped the general repair down to 36.5. Instead of 77.6,
okay.
I moved it down
And you dropped
to,
it down to the,
yeah, and Joan
machine.
advised me to do that. She goes, Wendy, and the audit guy said that should never be $4,000 there because you've been over budget every year on that. If you look at our comptroller report for the last 5 years.
Okay.
So that's where you got to look at those numbers. But other than that, I don't know about lighting. Debbie recommended we up at 1,000, so I upped each one 1,000. But I don't know because the electric keeps going up. The water, I did nothing with because we got no money. I left it all the same because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do about water yet. So I haven't even, tackled to touch water yet because we have no money.
Is all of our lights LEDs? All of our street lights?
Yes, they've been changed. They've been changed. Now you'll see on the revenue for the fire, I did add 2% to the real property at 50,500. That's for the village fire protection.
oh, yeah.
That I only did 2%. The ambulance, we can change. He's asking for 5. I did 4. I feel like that's all. If we're going to put our sales tax money a little in the park, I can't give 5 to the ambulance. And we've had some complaints that they're not here when we need them.
Yeah, no, yeah,
And so I feel
Meeting that would be interesting.
yeah.
I feel like that's fair, 4%. But if you it's not. This is just my idea that I worked on. But I'm open to changes. That's why
Definitely
next week.
food for thought, so then we can have.
Yes. So next week, please pencil in the numbers that you want, and we'll rework it. But right now, at this budget, I am, what did I tell you, $108 under our cap. I've spent all of our cap, which we're still under the 2%. We're still under the 2% cap. Before, when I first did it, I did all the high numbers. We were at 6%. I'm like, I can't do this. We've got to cut. We've got to cut. So,
So my
and,
public wish list, because I did not hand you guys one, I can if you would like.
well, I
would
asked
like
you and
to
you
ask-
told me the only thing you thought you might need was that printer for the thing,
I
but
wasn't
then you
thinking
said,
other people were putting in their raises, because you guys usually just do the same across the board. But I would like to ask for a 4% to try to offset the 4,000 I was reduced, because I'm really struggling, making less this year than I did last year. Insurance is going up another 3%, and in order to keep my deputy, I would like to offer her the 2%. You know.
yeah, I worked out all the numbers, because I didn't know how you all wanted to work that. But, and I will tell you, we had this problem at, and they were talking about cutting raises and stuff today. And one of the supervisors was gonna give his whole pay check back to the county because they're having a fit that we're going over the 2%. And, they were like, we do it, try to keep it across the board unless we can. So, and normally we have kept it across the board, but I felt like I wasn't gonna put any raise after I did the 6%. I was like, I am cut. And you'll notice, I think I cut all of our, except highway, I think I cut all of that reserve. I made them all zeros again, because I felt like we couldn't do it to the tech. Everybody's hurting. Everybody's hurting. So I don't think we can ask for much more. I didn't even wanna, my first budget I didn't even use our whole 38,000. I put a lot in, I put 24,000 in appropriated fund balance. And I'm like, shoot, I have to use the whole 38 first before I can do, and I didn't do that. So I had to go back and change all the lines. Because we can put in, to stay under the 2%, 38,690. So, and, but that's what I came with. But I need you guys to all crunch numbers, write it down how you got the numbers so we can keep a tally so we remember for the following years. We haven't got South Bruns ambulance yet, but that's a push. And like I said, if the fire district comes in, you know, that might change. The lighting, we've got to crunch the numbers because we didn't crunch the numbers yet. But the police officer, it would be $27.85 per. And I mean, if you want, we can cut it back down to 3. But the part-time I did cut down to 3. We can cut it down to 2. I mean, I felt like they're the only ones that we haven't gave one in a while. And
So
that's
they
why
didn't get anything last year?
no, they got, like everybody else got, but I felt like we've tried to up everybody's salary because of the inflation,
Right.
but the police has never been, because we haven't had a full, thing.
Because we didn't have any, they were all
Yeah.
new that came in the
Yeah,
year,
we
the year
didn't
they all
have-
started, they started with that inflated rate that
We-
you guys bumped to try to get people to come.
We didn't have, a lot of police, working before. Like Andy left halfway a year, and I mean, the police, I have the money to back that. It wouldn't cost the taxpayer. I got 50,000 in reserves for PS that I can do for 10 years and keep up in them, and it's not costing the taxpayer any money. Because we had that officer leave and we have it in reserve still. But this was what I played. I wanted to have something so you guys can look at and look at the numbers and, but like I said, this is my first time ever doing it pretty much by myself, besides Sarah typing in the
I mean, it
numbers.
looks good. I think
on
we just need to look at the numbers. and
You gotta
see.
tweak it. You have to tweak it. And that's why I wanted you to have one tonight. Maybe we can pull it all off on the 16th. I don't know. Probably not. There'll be all the
I will
changes.
sit with my headphones and.
Yeah, and do some calculation. I mean, I have done like that whole police, I had that whole thing ready for full time. It was 117,000 in full time.
Yeah.
But it was gonna cost us more for health insurance. It was gonna cost us more for retirement, another
Well, maybe it's
16.
a blessing that it-
Yeah, it might have been a blessing in disguise. But it was interesting, but just take a look and see what you guys wanna come up with. Come up with some numbers for me so I don't have to
All right. we done?
punch it. Yeah, we were done a while ago. You didn't have to stay. I just wanted you to look. I just wanted you to get a
What, Louis Road?
look, see, and get going on it, and hopefully at the next thing you can say, hey, and Roy, think about the water. I don't know what to do about the water. I really don't know. Do we up the rates again to give raises? Do we not? I mean, they can't afford to pay for what they get now. So,
Well, that's the trouble, they don't, you got so many people that, well, they do pay in time,
yeah,
but
but yeah, that's why I don't even know how, I can't even look at that. My eyes were so boggled down, I can't look at the water. I
Debbie, I'm
just,
gonna have to.
I feel bad for the people.
the thing of it is, fortunately with the aquifer, we got money to do things.
Yeah, thank God we had those ARPA funds.